You guys are both so ignorant. My dad is the Commodore of a yacht club. And
What? God, what the fuck? I have so many questions.
my dad is the Commodore of a yacht club.
What's a Commodore?
He's the head of the yacht club.
So
That's so funny.
the Commodore 64 is the head of the Yacht Club 64.
If you take the number 64 away from it, sure.
What's a Commodore do?
They run the yacht club.
You mean a yacht boss?
Yeah.
I just think of a weird bird in a yacht hat.
Sure, if you want to think that. Anyway, the treasurer this year, because they do a voting system every year, this is the first year he's been Commodore, but I think the treasurer this year is a lesbian woman, so as opposed to a lesbian man. Yeah, is a lesbian, so there are lesbians on boats.
Niamh, what's a lesbian man?
John.
What?
You're a lesbian man.
You're very butch.
John, you're like a lesbian trapped in a man's body.
You actually said that to me when we started becoming friends. You were like, "You're such a lesbian."
Yeah,
I was like, "What?"
Yeah, like I could see it.
It's a compliment. If I call someone a lesbian, it means I like them.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm alright with that identity.
Oh God.
Welcome to episode 69. I'm sorry it's been so long, everybody. We had a big complication and we haven't been able to record now.
This is episode 70.
No, I'm pretty sure this is 69. This is for sure 69.
Niamh and I, we had our own private 69 in the last episode.
3 people can't do a 69, John. What would that even look like?
It takes a yin and a yang to do a 69. Mm-hmm. And I have my yang right here.
Although 3 people, like, face down, butt up, all heads touching, kind of doing T-pose.
Oh, like a weird table.
I cannot handle this at all.
You could always leave again if you wanted.
Man, I wouldn't have given for like just one salty comment that I wasn't here, but no, everyone was like, "This is great." It really hurt my feelings.
This sounds way better without that asshole. That what they sounded like?
Yeah, that's what they sounded like. But how did you guys find recording a 2-person podcast?
We did like 3 different openings.
We did more than 3. I think we did 5. We even recorded some extra ones at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would usually involve me asking Niamh a question, to kind of lead into the next part.
Yeah.
Niamh would say one word and then I would talk for like fucking 20 minutes. Which is like...
you gotta keep it punchy, people. But yeah, it's really good to be back. It made me so sad missing an episode. Like, I was genuinely devastated.
Were you?
Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast, the world's strongest video game podcast. I am joined here by both mine and your queens of the podcast. It's Niamh.
Hi.
And Bryan.
Yo, what's good?
And returning, the fallen prince of Let's Fight a Boss and your host, it's John. Hey, everybody.
How was LA?
Good. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, let's get into it.
LA.
Los Angeles.
LA was pretty cool.
The Big Apple.
So I hated LA the last time I went there.
No, go on, keep going.
Sorry, I hated LA last time I was there because I was mainly in downtown. But this time I was in Hollywood, and I liked Hollywood more because you can smell the broken dreams in the air. Like, it's nice. There were maybe a few less kind of, I guess, deranged people in the street, which was a little pleasant. But there was still some colourful characters. I was headed to the Crunchyroll Awards, and I was like in my full suit and everything. And I passed by this woman, and she's like, "Hey, beautiful." And I just didn't say anything, and I kept walking. And then she was like, "Motherfucker, I'm talking to you!" And she followed me halfway down the street, just talking about all the ways she was going to fucking destroy me. And that was worrisome, because I was like, oh, I'm going to get blood on my suit. So there was still that side of LA. But other than that, it was good. I was saying to you guys before the podcast, it's a real good way to not get jet lag? Just don't fucking sleep. because I barely slept the entire time I was there. I think I got maybe like 6 to 8 hours sleep the entire time, and that was fine.
That's fine.
That's all you actually need.
Just keep the lights on.
Yeah, totally.
I think you're operating on pure madness.
No, well, that's been I'm getting so much stuff done because that's what I do now. Like I need roughly 11 hours of sleep a week. And you would not believe the things I'm discovering about the world.
You're just like Albert Einstein. He stopped sleeping too.
Just like Albert Einstein, Alex Jones, all the geniuses. Like it's been amazing.
Oh dear. Did you sleep on the flights?
On the way, oh my god, I got trapped on a hell flight on the way back. It was Air France. Big problem starting out because they are the worst airline. Like I really do not like Air France, and I was on this goddamn plane that was 20 years old. There was no USB charger or anything, and my phone died.
Oh no.
Yep. And I was beside a family, they needed a bassinet. That's what kind of fucking family this was. And the little kid was there.
It's a baby, it's something a baby sleeps in.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Brian.
And the little kid was speaking French the entire way, which not the kid's problem at all, but that does make me feel a little stupid when a kid is speaking a foreign language I can't understand.
But it's his language. He
I know,
French.
but it could speak English as well. So already that goddamn kid has a leg up on me, and I don't like it.
It could speak English.
Yeah.
It can't.
Huh?
It's French.
What? What are you having
This is a really
seizure?
complex joke. It has layers.
Don't worry, the listeners got it. It's fine. That's my phone. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm just hitting you from all sides.
Yeah, I think I'm still trying to get my head together from that intro. That was intense.
John, it really sounds like you haven't had a lot of sleep.
I haven't. No, it's been great. Let me tell you, I feel like sleep is the shackles that are holding humanity down.
I feel like this is the stuff you say before you start putting tissue boxes on your feet and just growing your beard out and your hair out, and you just kind of go pure mad.
Do you know that when people stop sleeping, they lose short-term memory completely?
Do you know what's funny, right? Because when I was buying, I had to get a suit for the Crunchyroll Awards, and this is kind of bad. Michelle was like, yeah, and you'll need that for other stuff too, because I wanted to put some money into it and have it look nice. And then I was like, yeah, I'll be able to use it for that wedding that's coming up. And then she was like, we went to that wedding last October. And I was like, no, we didn't. And there's this wedding that I have no fucking memory of. And I know the persons whose wedding it was, they don't listen to this podcast. Because we barely know each other and I didn't want to be there. But it was insane. There's this gap in my memory. And I'm just like, fuck, really? So yeah, whatever the start of this conversation was is probably happening. I don't remember what we're talking about.
I think it's totally fair to delete information that's no longer useful.
Yeah. You see, that's what I think my brain did. I think my brain was like, well, don't need this shit, and just kicked it out.
Yeah, just do a proper secure empty trash on that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't need to be there.
I refuse to learn anyone's birthdays.
Facebook will do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been a birthday date guy. Brian, you're pretty into birthdays.
Oh yeah, I know. Growing up, I knew my family and friends' birth dates. And I'd know what they got in their birthdays as well, because I love presents.
What month is John's?
November.
What month is mine?
January.
Brian, what date's mine?
It's early 4th.
What date is mine?
8th of January. But I know that because I'm 8th of June and you're 6 months older than me.
I'm older than you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm the baby of the podcast.
I often think of you as older than me, Niamh, even though you're not.
I was in the year below both of you.
I know, but...
Yeah, but that's college. College doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know how there's always mature students.
And we didn't really know you in college either.
Yeah, you're kind of a bit of a weirdo.
Yeah, totally.
Mysterious was
Weird.
the other word.
No, just standoffish.
Yeah, very standoffish.
She was like, ugh, straight people, ew. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, good for your friend. This isn't some cool femme that I can talk to at a nightclub. This is my impression of your voice. Hey, my name's Niamh and I'm all about the ladies. I think that's what she used to sound like in college.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, which one is the real Niamh?
Who knows?
But yeah, the Crunchyroll Awards were fun. I was really shitting it, and we got to do like we had to like do 2 rehearsals of the entire thing, and when we were doing like the stage rehearsal, I like walked way past the marker and fucked up my lines, failing 100% of my tasks on that given night. And I was like, well, this will be terrible. But then it actually went fine when I did it. But then later on, I went back and I watched it on the Twitch stream, and everyone's just like, who's this normie fuck?
Yeah, okay, yeah. You did look like a normie fuck, but in a good way.
You looked like you were at your own funeral. It looked great. It looked like you were giving a eulogy to yourself.
I would love to do that.
You did really well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
I thought it was very awkward, and then when I had to announce the winner, I think my displeasure of that winner showed.
Yeah, but then the anime you were rooting for was Made in Abyss. That won overall best anime, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a like backstage. That was a super fun moment because everyone was like, "Yeah,
yeah." No, like that show is a work of art.
Yeah, it's a very good show. Have you watched it?
I still haven't finished it, and we have a snowstorm at the moment, so I might finish it.
Cool show.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because the way a lot of anime is not a work of art.
Yes.
It's just like polished trash.
Yeah. Well, they can't all be Dragon Ball Z.
No. No, they cannot, John.
No. So I watched Young Sheldon on the plane over.
Why? I saw this and I was like, why?
Because I was morbidly curious. And I was also like, this is the only situation in the entire world when I'm ever going to watch Young Sheldon.
Yeah, John was telling me a little about this, and this kind of ties back into Air France. Like, this is what they have on their... Like...
Oh, no, Air France didn't have Young Sheldon. Air France had, like, 30 French movies, 30 French television shows, and 9 episodes of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, so you actually downloaded Young Sheldon?
No, this was on the flight over. This was on Delta.
And Delta were like, here, John, here's Young Sheldon.
I really like the implication that, like, this French airline is like, oh, what do non-French people like? The Big Bang Theory? Just put on some episodes of that.
So Young Sheldon is a prequel to The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, it stars everyone's main man, Sheldon, when he's, like, a little kid. And let me tell you, this show is surprisingly watchable. I was genuinely shocked by the pretty decent-ish quality of the show. It is nothing like The Big Bang Theory. Now, just to be clear, I have no intention to watch... I watched 1 episode. I have no intention to watch any more of it. But I shit on this show a couple of episodes ago because I just thought it would be really stupid. And in fairness, it's actually much better than that. It feels like a young team got on it and they actually gave a shit and they actually tried to write characters and scenarios and stuff. It is not like The Big Bang Theory at all. It is much more like Malcolm in the Middle. That's the kind of show it is. It has like camera angles and like production and shot composition. It's weird.
That sucks for it then, because people have already just written it off completely because of its connection to Big Bang Theory.
Yes, but I'm sure many more people will watch it also because of its connection to Big Bang Theory.
I think this show was written as a different show, and then they were like, we could just make this like a prequel to Sheldon's life.
For all I know, that was how it was produced, because that could absolutely be the case. The worst parts of the show are when the narrator for Sheldon comes and talks at the beginning and end of the episodes. Those bits fucking suck.
Because the narrator is voiced by adult Sheldon.
What I always thought about my mother, and it's like, oh, shut the fuck up, dude. But then, like, the child actor is really good. His brother is really good. His sister is really good. His parents are both really good. They're all, like... By the end of the episode, I had a sense that they were all well-developed characters who all had their own shit going on outside of Sheldon.
Okay. And so this is the... And so... This is the controversial question that I'm going to ask.
Okay, we're all about controversy here.
Niamh, I'm so sorry. Is Young Sheldon better than The Good Place?
Yeah, totally.
That is bullshit.
That is
absolute bullshit.
Actually is not.
It is. It's just such...
Niamh, why are you okay with mediocrity in comedy?
Oh my god.
Oh, you know what I did watch? Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
That's really good.
Show's alright.
Yeah.
That show's pretty decent. Way better than The Good Place.
It goes places for sure.
Mm-hmm. It took me a little while to warm up to it. Like, I was kind of in that situation with the main character for a little while where I was like, do I like her or hate her or what's going on? But then after a few episodes, I was like, okay, this is cool. She's cute. Her boyfriend, well, the guy she likes is super cute. And yeah, it's a fun show. I wish the musical numbers were a bit better, but yeah, I thought it was cool.
It improves as it goes, but also I think season 1 is the season where everyone just seems kind of like a shit person.
Yeah.
And it kind of progresses from there, so stick with it.
Yeah, I think I will. Like, but like at the first episode, I was like, but then 3 or 4 in, I was kind of like, I am starting to get something from this show, and I see what it's going for, and I think what it's going for is cool. So yeah. Brian.
Yeah.
You watched Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, holy shit, you guys. I recommend watching this movie. This is okay, this film came out a year ago, and it's directed by the same guy who directed Kings of Summer.
Oh, what?
Yeah, which is one of my favorite films.
That's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, what's his name? Jordan Vaught Roberts. There was a photograph last week of him meeting Hideo Kojima.
Okay.
And when you watch Kong Skull Island, you're like, this guy really, really likes Metal Gear Solid. Because there are bits in this film that looked...
Oh, shit balls!
So, Brian, I noticed there was an edit point there. Like, we just cut, right?
Yeah, we did.
What was the reason we cut?
Because Niamh spilled your glass of wine all over your phone and said, oh, shit balls. Which is a really interesting swear word.
I try to be creative.
See, I like it because this is one of the few times Niamh feels bad for me and she feels genuinely guilty.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it.
She's going to feel bad for like a month.
Oh, I don't think she'll feel bad past 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's more likely.
Yeah.
No, I'd say like later on she's going to be like, oh, fuck.
I'll always remember it. I'll be like, oh, I really fucked up that time.
Do you know what? I think I'll message you next week and remind you about it as well. Just be like, remember that time?
Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, okay. I'm kind of jumping all over the place. This is, you know how there's all these movie cinematic universes? Mm-hmm. Legendary Pictures are trying to do a kaiju giant monster universe. So the 2014 Godzilla movie was the first one of those, which is a film I despise.
Oh, hang on.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
The Bryan Cranston one?
Yeah.
That film is a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's a terrible film.
Godzilla's really cute in it, though.
Godzilla design, A+. Everything else, terrible.
Yeah, well, he's really, really cute when you get to see him an hour and a half into the film.
Yeah. I like the bit where the two monsters are about to fight and then they cut away to some fucking US military family.
The first shot you see of Godzilla is on a tiny TV screen in the bottom left corner of the film.
But like,
it's a badly made film. It's a fucking bait and switch tease
and
fest.
I get they're doing that on purpose, like
Yeah.
they're trying to tease it out. It did not work for me.
oh man, I never felt there was very little Godzilla. I was like, but then again, now that I think of it, I can't remember the plot at all. All I remember is Godzilla looking cool and screaming blue fire into a monster's face.
That was rad.
Yeah. That was rad, but like it wasn't. That was not the film we got. Mm-hmm. And if you watch Shin Godzilla, the one directed by Hideaki Anno, Creative Evangelion.
Yeah, he created Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thought
resident.
I'd point that out.
Thank you.
Have to own my credentials every once in a while. Get in there with some deep knowledge.
Thank you, Super Eye Patch Wolf.
No problem, sir.
Fucking jerk. So it turns out this director was like the perfect director for this film because this is the second of these kaiju monster franchise world building movies, and they're actually going to make a movie where King Kong fights Godzilla. So the idea for this King Kong is that he's actually fucking massive. Yeah. Like his hands are the size of helicopters.
Okay.
I don't really like that idea because a mammal would have no reason to be that large.
He's that large so he can fight Godzilla. That's the only reason why he's that large.
Great, love it. Great world building, great character building, great, fantastic.
I don't know, Niamh. I think you're overselling it.
Do a character design based on an extended universe. Great.
So what's the reason a reptile would be that large? Okay.
Because dinosaurs, like, there's the possibility of bigger. Mammals just haven't been as big as reptiles in general.
And apparently with this King Kong, he's still growing because he's a teenager.
So, like, okay,
he's
sure.
fucking massive.
I feel like I'm willing to suspend my disbelief for a lot of things.
What does he eat?
But the idea that King Kong could
Whatever
beat Godzilla...
No. He'd have to eat, like, his entire body weight, like, every day or some shit.
This guy is, like, way more nimble than Godzilla.
I feel like Godzilla just has to, like, eat his face off.
Yeah.
But then King Kong could rip off his arms.
King Kong is fighting... Okay.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay.
This is one of these films where it clearly had a lot of studio rules and limitations around it, but the budget is almost $200 million, so that's a lot of cash to play around with. But the director of this film is definitely a film nerd. He cites Neon Genesis Evangelion as a reference, as a design for one of the monsters that King Kong fights on Skull Island.
Cool.
And it's like a 2-armed lizard that has its skull on the outside of its face.
That's awesome.
It looks a bit like Sakiel. It's fucking weird. And there are bits where characters are shooting with the guns, but it's in first person mode like a video game. And then there's bits where it's kind of shot like a cutscene from The Phantom Pain. But the film has 20 characters in it. Some characters only speak 10 lines in this whole film. It's a fucking mess. But then there's bits where you're like, oh wait, no, this is a nice person trying his best.
So it was an interesting mess?
Yeah, oh absolutely. I think everyone should give this film a go.
Sounds cool. I was actually really curious to see it, but then I saw some reviews of it that weren't glowing.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds interesting enough that won't matter.
This is a film that Hideo Kojima would love.
Perfect.
And he did.
Okay.
He also loves La La Land, so I'm not going to take his opinion.
That's because he's so
credit.
fucking crazy on Hollywood juice.
Yeah.
That is true.
But this is just someone who likes Metal Gear and is putting Metal Gear DNA into a Hollywood film, and it's this is a proper A triple star film with a B movie storyline. But I think the director, his next project is he's trying to get the Metal Gear movie off the ground.
Wow. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No, they should never do that.
Especially now.
Yeah.
And you were saying that the director of this hates the channel CinemaSins.
Yes, he does. Okay, first of all, he's big into YouTube, and honest movie trailers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He introduced the honest movie trailers for Kong Skull Island, so he's a fan of them.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
And this film does have plot holes, and he's very, very open about making fun of them.
Yeah.
But when CinemaSins did their version of Kong Skull Island and made their attempt at tearing the film apart, he got on Twitter and broke it down point by point and got in a huge fucking fight with them.
CinemaSins are garbage.
They're terrible.
I don't shit talk other YouTubers much, but they suck. That is not criticism. That is some weird, pedantic, piss take of criticism.
Sean does amazing takedown videos of them.
I was talking to Sean the other day.
Oh, cool.
Super, super lovely guy.
Oh, he seems like it. But I love his takedown of CinemaSins.
Yeah, he's doing good work.
He made the observation that they contradict themselves within a video,
Yes.
nearly after each point. So he was I think it's written by committee. It's just a multiple people
because there's
writing
no
things.
thesis. There's no central idea. It's just it's like a bad comedy where it's just let's try and nitpick as much as we can, and there's no purpose to it. There's no heart or love or anything, you know.
The ding sound is so annoying.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, they're really sexist and homophobic.
Yeah, I think it was either a Sean video or a Movie Bob video that had a bunch of that shit in it. And it was bad.
in that some of their movies are this movie isn't good because the chick only takes off her t-shirt, not her bra.
Ding.
Yeah.
CinemaSin.
It's sad, and I know they're not being serious about that one, but it's but it has the ding, so they are.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of annoys me about them is they have this thing where they want to be taken seriously as critics, but any criticism they get themselves, they go, well, it's just parody. And it's this double thing where it's they either shift between being criticism or parody and never both, or never taking responsibility for either, and I'm not a fan.
It's a farm to make money.
Yes, that's what it is.
If you're a teenager, stop watching them. I had to say this to my brother the other day. Don't watch CinemaSins. Just don't.
There's so many other better channels. Every Frame of Painting don't make stuff anymore, but there's a million. There is a million
Just watch a video essay instead of a fucking list.
What's the name of that guy we were talking about recently? He's a Scottish lad. He did a video on the Gremlins and Cable Guy and stuff like that.
Oh fuck, Ryan Hollinger.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's his name.
Yeah, he's done some cool stuff lately.
Yeah, I discovered his channel a couple months ago, but he has a huge back catalogue. Love when that happens.
Yeah, it's
because
nice.
you're like, oh, I've got like 50 videos to watch. Holy shit.
But yeah, cool guy. And also Sean.
Yeah.
Sean's a great guy.
Sean's great.
Love him. But yeah, CinemaSins bad. Kong Skull Island pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. I think anyone who listens to this podcast should watch it because there'll be something in it for you.
Yeah, sounds good. Niamh, how's it going?
Good.
How's that thing?
The Push.
The Push.
Yes.
Have either of you guys heard about this?
Yeah, I watched it a couple of years ago.
Darren Brown's The Push.
Yeah, it's old.
It's old.
Oh, really? I think it just came out on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix are really like, they have 2018 right up in the corner and they're like,
No.
here's my social experiment.
No, go on. You ask
Okay.
what it's about, and then I'll say what it's about.
I'll explain. Okay, so what it is, it's Darren
Derren.
Ah,
Darren
Niamh.
Brown,
Darren Brown, the illusionist.
human illusionist man.
And if you know, like, Darren Brown is like Brian's hero.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm not going to shit on.
Okay.
Well, so the premise of this is he wants to show social conditioning. So when you're told to do something by an authority figure, you automatically do it because it was an authority figure that told you. And the example he gives at the start of this is he gets a guy to call a guy working in a cafe. And the guy on the phone pretends to be a cop. And he says to the cafe worker, there's a woman in your cafe and she's a known child abductor. And she should be there with a red buggy and she has black hair. And the guy behind the counter identifies her. And he's just like, okay, yeah, she's here. And he's like, okay, what I need you to do is take the buggy off her and wheel it outside. Try your best to distract her. She's distracted. He wheels the buggy outside and Darren Brown appears and it's just like, oh, it's just a thing to show that social conditioning can make you do this. So
Yeah, about being compliant.
about being compliant. So then the main focus of The Push is them trying to make someone commit a murder. Can they use social compliance to make you kill someone? And they pick a guy out of, they've tested a whole pile of people, they pick one guy they think they can do it with, and it goes through this entire thing. He thinks he's going to a gala, a charity gala. They set up this whole youth charity fundraiser called The Push and tell him how important it is for networking and what's going to happen. There's an old man who's kind of giving items to be auctioneered to raise money for this, and he has a heart attack. And this guy gets swept up in this entire thing of hiding the body in a trunk. Like, this guy thinks this man has died, and this guy there in the room is like, we need to hide the body, we need to put it in a trunk. And he goes along with him and puts it in a trunk. And it just escalates and escalates until it gets to the end where what they're trying to force this guy to do, not force him to do, just hope that he'll do it through social conditioning, is to finally commit murder by pushing an old man off the top of the roof.
Yeah.
That's the premise.
Right.
Yeah, it's and it's like an hour long kind of like very, very carefully crafted like heist where there's no heist.
They've hired actors. They've gotten celebrities to record little bits to make it seem like a legitimate charity. So they've like Martin Freeman, they've like, I don't know, every Doctor Who man, Stephen Fry, like just people to make this seem real, but they keep repeating the phrase, do whatever it takes. So that's always playing in the background. Do whatever it takes to kind of prime this guy more. Yeah, it's super creepy.
He's a mentalist, so this is all like back of your mind subconscious stuff that he's super interested in.
What did you think of it, Brian?
I only thought it was alright. This is probably like one of my least favorite things Darren Brown has ever done. This was originally a Channel 4 special from 2 years ago. That Darren Brown had this, so there's a UK channel called Channel 4, and Darren Brown has had like a 20-year contract with them, doing a lot of specials and man on the street magic shows back in the early 2000s, and they're amazing now. They have like the best motion graphics. But he's done a few kind of scenarios and live shows that then get broadcast on Channel 4. He's done one before where it's like, well, what if there was a zombie apocalypse? What would you do? And he recreates a zombie apocalypse with a guy.
That's cool.
And he does one as well where he gets a bunch of old people to steal a painting.
What do you think of this, Niamh?
I thought the thing itself was really interesting, and I think people should watch it. Like, just the idea of compliance. The guy they try and fool ultimately doesn't go through with it. At the end, he's like, I'm not going to push him, and he walks away, and Derren Brown comes out, and he's just like, hey, it was me, it was an entire act.
Does he come out going...
Fucking nearly. But there's multiple points in it where they think this guy is dead. His elderly wife shows up and says that he has this kind of disease which makes his blood pressure drop and him faint, which makes him seem like he's dead. So he kind of like gets up again and he's like, you guys put me in a box. You guys did all of this shit to me. What did you do? So then like their only option is to kill him. And that's where it escalates. But there's at one stage where they have to kick him while he's unconscious to make bruises, to make it look like he falls down the stairs.
What?
And the guy refuses to kick him as well. But afterwards, they show that they ran the trial 3 other times with 2 women and another man, and they all kicked this old dead man's body.
That's really fucked up.
It's super fucked up, and they all pushed him at the end. They all pushed him off the building.
And so the main subject they followed, he didn't push him, but the 3 other times they ran the test, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's like the fucking, it's like Compliance, the movie.
Yeah.
Like, that, like, I was shocked how real that was.
Yeah, it's based on true events.
But that's what I want to get to, is like, I think this was an interesting social experiment, and Derren Brown opens with like, can we make someone commit a murder? Can we make people do awful things? And I think his general thesis is already like, it's already been proven. We know people will do this. We saw that, like, this was the whole thing with like Nazi Germany. Why did people follow? It was because I was told to do it. And there was, you said that movie Compliance was based on a true story. It was called the Strip Search Phone Call Scams. And what happened was this guy would call fast food restaurants pretending to be a cop and make people strip search female employees until it got to the case where a woman was sexually assaulted over 3 hours by her workmates because someone over the phone pretended to be a cop.
Multiple workmates, men and women. It was fucking insane.
That's a true story. And that happened in, like, that guy was caught in 2004 for doing that. That victim, that woman, had PTSD, had depression, and could never continue. She was a medical school student, could never continue her college.
Yeah, I bet.
I just think it's so fucked that Derren Brown would put 3-4 people through the mental kind of stress of thinking that someone died, making like I think I would like to think I wouldn't be a person who would do that and push them off a building. In fact, I know I don't care about authority, but like, if I was, how would I live with myself knowing that I did that?
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
My friends and my family know I'm capable of doing that because I felt I was backed up against the wall. Like, I feel really bad for the subjects involved, and Derren Brown was really like, I mean, like 9 people out of 10 will do it. But
yeah,
there was
like
one guy in it who didn't do it.
There's definitely, I feel like, a line there that gets crossed.
Yeah.
I think that's why I didn't, like, because he's super weird when he's with civilians. I describe him as civilians because I don't know what the fuck he is. But he has different dispositions when he's around certain people, because he could be super nice and charismatic, like he is kind of a con man in the way it is confidence, but he can be like super mean and dismissive, or like the nicest guy ever and charm you.
It's weird. Like, I remember ages ago I was at like a post high school party in Crete, and one of the like fucking hell clubs we went to had like a magician entertainer, and he hypnotized 2 guys and he made them make out with each other, and it was kind of like, this is getting weird. Like, this is crossing some odd fucking consent lines, and I felt really fucking weird about seeing that.
So like, if a person believes something is real, it is like, it's real, even if at the end of it you're told it's fake, or even if you're told it was in your head, like whatever you're going through is real. So all these people went through them thinking that someone died, that they covered up a murder, and that they were going to kill someone, and that's kind of okay TV.
Imagine like the identity
Channel
shit.
4.
Yeah,
like
It's edgy as shit.
No, you're totally right. That's really fucked up.
He has so he's switched over to to Netflix now. Like, you know how Black Mirror was Channel 4, and then they bought those shows and slapped Netflix original on it. It's Netflix original because they did a slight re-edit on it, and it's being broadcast worldwide. So Americans don't know who Derren Brown is, but now they do. But he has 2 more specials out this year, and they're new specials.
I hope they aren't as fucked.
They might be. He's gotten like
Hypnotism's kind of fucked.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But like he loves hypnotism, and he loves like classic magicians and stuff. Like he loves The Prestige and that whole world of magicians.
Giving people PTSD.
Yeah, no, he does. And he's into faith healing and how that's a sham. Mm-hmm. Like he just he likes all aspects. So like, but he says none of it's real. It's really strange.
It's not real for him because he knows he's manipulating a mind, but the mind he's manipulating, it may as well be real.
Yeah.
I remember one of his earliest like tricks is that like he drew like with like a bit of chalk like a square on a footpath on the side of the road, and people wouldn't walk in it.
I thought you were going to be like, and every cat from every village came to the square and sat in it.
I wish. I love cats. He's just into like social conditioning.
Yeah, strange guy. I remember I saw once where he was like, he would shake people's hands and give them orgasms.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty. I don't know what that is.
I've seen him twice live. I'd see him a third time, no problem.
I think I would nearly go see him at this point.
I would too, but I felt that was crossing a weird line. But I also think people should watch it because it was fascinating.
Yeah, I think with him you just have to have an open mind. Like you can't believe one thing or the other. You just have to just.
I just worry about those people. Like I hope that woman who pushed a man to his death doesn't stay awake at night being like, I have the capability of murder.
He is a big team.
Maybe
of
she
people
sleeps
that...
really soundly, being like, I have the capability of murder.
Yeah.
There's 2 types of people, I guess.
They're like British people, so they're just kind of happy with what they got.
They're chill with genocide.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I watched John Wick 1 and 2. Niamh, you recently went on a date with my girlfriend.
Yes, I did.
And you watched John Wick together.
Yes.
And Michelle really enjoyed it, but when I got home, she was like, you of all people need to watch these movies. And I was like, oh, cool dog. And I was so upset I stood up.
Action, 2 fucking cool action movies starring Keanu Reeves, produced by Keanu Reeves as well. Like these are very personal to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of too personal.
Really?
Well, he's like...
Oh, no! Yeah, because his real life is weird.
Yeah, he said he's had a tragic life.
He had a really tragic life.
He's an okay dude, that guy.
I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I think he gives like loads of money to charity, and he's had it tough, but yeah.
Not only does he give money to charity, he donated a lot of his money to the makeup and special effects cast. Because he was like, guys don't get paid enough.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm. But so I've watched both the John Wick movies in the last couple of days, and I love these movies. These are fucking exceptional action movies. I really, really liked them. The stunt choreography, everything was great. I love how, like, I'm not going to say practical, but like how, I guess, practical the way he fights is, the way it's just like bang, shoot center mass, bang, shoot the head. Like he just double taps everyone, and it's the coolest fucking thing. Me and Brian were saying this earlier, but like, it is so fucking amazing to see an action movie with that level of world building, where it's just like this weird underground gold coin fueled hotel assassin society.
Yeah.
I thought that shit was the coolest.
That operates worldwide, and they have like doctored passports, and it doesn't matter. They can go to any part of the world and kill someone.
Yeah, and it stops just short of fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, it is nearly fantasy, but it's not quite. And
it's way better than like the fucking Da Vinci Code or one of those things.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just...
I really liked the first one. I thought the first one was very good. I loved the second one. The second one, I just thought, like... I thought the first one had maybe like a little more heart, because that's the kind of story, and you get the dog and his wife and everything, and that was really sad. But the second one just felt like all these concepts they introduced in the first one, and they built on it so much. And by the end of the first one, I was getting a little bit bored with gun karate.
Yeah.
But I thought the set pieces in the second one were so varied and so weird and so much fun. And I really loved how they played around with the edit. I like when they cut between him fighting 3 separate people at once. That was so cool. And yeah, I think these are fantastic movies. These are like this is the closest I would ever get to like a No More Heroes movie. Like it's the same vibe.
Yeah, I kind of like thought they were Resident Evil-esque, where it's like, this is over-the-top silliness, but it's good.
Yeah.
Good over-the-top silliness. And it's got a main character that you want to succeed.
Yeah.
I really love how everyone's just inexplicably terrified of John Wick. It's like the boogeyman.
Best
like,
bit of the whole fucking movie is when someone's like, the Russian guy's like, why did you lay your hands on my son? And then it's just like, he killed John Wick's dog. And then the Russian guy's like, oh. And just hangs up the phone.
Yeah. It's just like, oh shit, we're all fucked.
Yeah. And like for as little as you get of John Wick the character, every part is likable. I really like how he kept running into like old friends from the assassin business, and sometimes he'd let them live if he could, and then sometimes he didn't have the choice. And
I really like the bit where he's on, I think it's in the second movie, where he's on the train and he meets another assassin, and like they have a long professional history together, but they've been contracted, but one's been contracted to take the other one out.
Yeah.
And John has to act in self-defense, and so they're just going to have to duke it out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one. How is Ruby Rose's character in it?
Like, minimal, but incredible.
Yeah,
Cool.
like, very interesting.
Yeah, like, you know, you don't get a lot from her. Every second she's on screen, she looks and acts amazing. She's like a mute in it, so she has to sign everything.
Yeah.
And they do my favorite thing in, like, any kind of action movie or video game, where, like, enemies come across each other in like neutral ground. So there's a bit where like a bunch of assassins kind of meet up in a bar, and they're all on opposite sides, but they're all like, we can't fight in this bar. You want to grab a drink? And it's so good. There's like that moment in Final Fantasy VII where you meet the Turks in a bar, and they're just like, we're actually off duty now, so we're not really interested in fighting or anything, so we're just gonna leave it if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah.
And it was I would really check out that second one, Niamh. Like, did you like the first one?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Like, I don't know, they're kind of different in ways because the first one's so self-contained.
Yeah.
But the way they extended that story, like, it made me care in a way I didn't think I would.
Yeah.
I didn't think the choreography in the first one was amazing.
The fight scene at the end of the first one, the fist fight, that's pretty rough.
It's like I really love kung fu films, so it's kind of like, it's all right. Like,
it's not elaborate choreography. Like, it's very kind of practical, but I do feel like the action in the second one was so much tighter. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
cool.
Really fucking could. Like, if I'm like late to the train on these movies, but if you have any interest in action movies, this is the best action movie I've seen in the longest time.
Also, the hotel concierge, the hotel where all the assassins stay, where it's like hollowed ground. The concierge is played by Lance Reddick, and he's a very important man.
He's fucking brilliant.
He's on the Let's Fight a Boss important men list.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you love him.
I didn't know that list existed, and I don't know who this is.
We can. Do you want to know everyone who's in it?
Yeah, go on.
It's me, Lance Reddick, and Bryan.
Yeah. Lance Reddick is the guy who said looked like RuPaul, and
Oh my god.
Okay, they're both like very, very tall, skinny, bald men, but like, nah, man.
Lance Reddick's only skinny like when you see him with his clothes on.
Yeah, but when you see him with his clothes off and his underpants, you're like, whoa.
You're like, that is the apex predator of the human race.
But same with
That is
RuPaul. He is like chiseled to perfection. He can run as fast as a cheetah and beat up King Kong.
Man.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
8-pack.
Fair play to him.
I don't know. Lance Reddick is fucking class.
Like, look at that.
I'm gonna tweet out a picture of Lance Reddick shirtless,
No, you're not.
just to be like, all three of us like this man.
That's not true.
What?
Wait, Niamh, you don't like Lance Reddick?
Whoa,
I don't
there's
know Lance
loads of
Reddick.
naked men on Google.
Yeah, why?
I can't believe there's naked people on the internet.
Yeah.
This is very naked,
I've
though.
saved search off, so that's cool. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
We're going to move straight on into our strategy talk. Niamh, you've played nothing.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's a video game podcast.
A real fucking gamer girl here, everyone. Go on.
I have played something, but I haven't played a lot of it.
Okay.
I started Lost Legacy.
Oh, how's that going?
Good. I really, really like Chloe and Nadine. They're cool characters.
That is a very strong opening act, isn't it?
It's really good. The shooting is never not surprising. Like, it's just really not... Like, it's like, whoa, okay, guess murder.
I'd be happy if that
Heist
game
goes
was,
wrong, time to get the guns
I'd be
out.
happy if that game was 3 hours long and only set pieces, because the shooting does so little for me.
it's just such a jarring experience. You kind of want to be like, I like these characters and I think they are generally good, and then you're just like snapping a neck here, doing a headshot there.
Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't believe Chloe is someone who can snap necks. Like,
yeah, I feel like Nadine can.
Nadine,
like,
absolutely.
Her arms are amazing.
Yeah.
Because she's a mercenary, yeah. Like it all
but
makes
like
sense.
with Chloe, or I at least feel like it should take Chloe more effort. But she just like gone.
And they're just so, both of them, like, even if maybe they pretended they cared, but they're both so desensitized to their own like level of violence.
Yeah, like the level of violence is so. The level of their banter is like I kind of believe it with Nadine. I believe Nadine's a hardened killer, but I feel like I just never get it. Something about Chloe does not click with me.
I feel like Chloe's like cheeky and she's more talk than she is action, but then you like that's her personality.
Yeah.
But then you see her kill like 15 dudes in a row, and then you're like, okay, I guess she is action despite her personality coming across as more of a kind of like, I'm a Joker thief person, not really a hardened killer person.
There's kind of like a boss battle a little later on where it's like Chloe fighting this dude and he's like a big fucking dude. That was actually, I thought, like really interestingly done, because you did have to be like very sneaky against him because he is bigger and stronger.
You can't beat her in Uncharted 4.
You can't beat Nadine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 bits where Nate has to fight her, and there's kind of scripted cutscenes, but like she's unbeatable.
I really want to see that, but I don't want to play Uncharted 4.
Those games are so weird. While I'm
Yeah.
playing them, I'm enjoying them a lot. I really like the environments and the characters. But afterwards, I just like, I never remember them. I would never list them on any top game lists. They're just always like,
They're super
it's like
forgettable.
a movie. Like, it's just...
Yeah, they're like
experienced
digestible
that, I
action
guess.
movies. And I feel like even the writing is so, you know, you can see the writers have read all these like Hollywood script guides, you know, here's your 2-act lull, all this kind of stuff, and it's like,
It's like, it feels like they don't want their video game to be a video game a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And that's really weird because like, just the whole idea of message is the medium kind of thing. It's like, why are you making a game out of this?
I completely agree. And sometimes I feel like the answer to that is because people will buy this game.
Yeah, like I think more people will buy an Uncharted game than go see an Uncharted movie or something
totally.
like that.
And like I also don't want to see an Uncharted movie.
Yeah.
Like I feel like maybe when Uncharted started, the appeal was like, it's like a Hollywood movie, you know, because that was when, you know, graphics were becoming just far enough that you could make stuff that didn't look totally ridiculous to outsiders. But at this point, I don't know, I know there is so much work that goes into those games that I could not give a fuck about. Like, I feel like those games are wasted resources in a way because, like, you know, I don't care about, like, realistic rope textures. I don't care about physics on sand. Like, that stuff is never going to impress me.
It's like you're in the moment and it's this is beautiful and cool looking, but it never stays with me. It just never stays with me as an experience.
But Nadine is super cool.
Nadine is super cool, and so is Chloe, and they're a good couple and a good ship.
They are very good.
They are.
Did you guys see that thing on Twitter that people are encouraging people to do for like online personalities they like, where you search someone's Twitter tag plus girls to see what they've said about girls?
No.
It's a way to find out if like someone's a dirtbag or not.
Are you a dirtbag?
If you search mine, it's all people from Let's Fight a Boss being like, so Brian says you like buff girls.
It's true.
Yeah, like you do like Nadine.
Yeah, I do.
She's got muscles on her arms.
She's cool. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting aside. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I was playing a bit more Monster Hunter. I feel very similar to how you were when you were talking about it last week.
Really?
I respect the hell out of that game. Like, I like it a lot. I had a big, long, like, 30-minute fight with a monster, and I killed it, and then I made some pants out of it, and I was kind of like,
Was it worth it?
yeah. And, like, I love a lot about that game. I love how the monsters look. I think some of those monster designs, you've seen the inflatable bat thing?
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. So cool.
Cool looking.
But I'm getting to the point now where I feel like I'm getting less out of it, and I want to experience new things.
Same. Like, I'm kind of like, there's so many games out right now. I felt like if this was the one game I owned, I could just keep going with it, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
Someone said in the YouTube comments that just to me that games don't have to have meaning all the time. They can just be fun. I totally agree. Like, I'm not playing Knights of Azure because I'm like, this is so much meaning. I'm playing it because it's fun and it's dumb. I will play fun games. I like Minecraft. I like things that don't have meaning, like don't have narrative meaning and are just pure fun gameplay. But I think with Monster Hunter, I'm not having fun
I feel
anymore.
like
There's a lot of space for you to think.
To get the most out of Monster Hunter, you have to be someone who like gets turned on by the numbers going up. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm like that to a point, but like I think from now on, me and Monster Hunter is going to be like, oh, I'm going to play a couple hours and hang out with this person, but it's going to be about hanging out with people as opposed to like, because I've been playing solo up till now, I've just played by myself, and
the best experience I had was playing with other people. Like, completely. Definitely the best experience. I think it's a good game to hang out with your friends and do stuff and chat. Like,
yeah, and like I'm looking forward to doing that. Mm-hmm. But you know, a lot of like I've played 30 hours of this game and I've really enjoyed the 30 hours I've had. I'm kind of ready for it to kind of wind down. You know, I'm ready for it to be a background game. Mm-hmm. Totally. Brian, tell us about Donkey Kong 94.
Yeah, I was playing Bayonetta on the Switch and I got fed up with it.
why?
It's just that game's aged.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, well, if I want to play
One or two?
One.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they're surprised how rough one is, especially after playing two.
Yeah, no, like two's a way more polished game. Like, my biggest complaint with Bayonetta 1 is that like the enemies don't telegraph their attacks as well as I thought they did. And there are bits where you like I did the one bit last the most recent bit I did was you're fighting enemies on an open road and cars are driving past. So you can't come up with a strategy because the cars randomly just drive into you.
Yeah.
And that's bad game design.
Yeah.
Like there are rough bits of that game. So I was like, okay, just because at the moment we're trapped with a snowstorm most of the week, I decided I'll just play one of my old favorite games. So I played Donkey Kong on the Game Boy, and holy shit, this is like such a well-aged game.
You said this to me ages ago. You were like, Donkey Kong on the Game Boy is actually amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And I was like, okay.
No, it is.
And then I played it. That is a fucking amazing Game Boy game.
This is like, it's basically a sequel to the arcade games, the original Donkey Kong arcade games. But it's a Game Boy game where you play as Mario and you're rescuing Pauline from Donkey Kong. And...
Sorry, I was thinking of a different game. I was thinking of the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong Country.
They're good as well.
They're really good. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and it's just called Donkey Kong, so online it's called Donkey Kong 94 because it came out in 1994. And without this game, games like Super Meat Boy would not exist. The whole idea is that this is a platforming game, but it's not a side-scrolling platformer. The platforming screen, for the most part, for most levels, is the size of the screen of the Game Boy. And you have a tiny little pixel sprite Mario, but every like pixel in that game counts. And it's a puzzle platformer where you have to clear a room by going to the other side of the room, navigating your way there with a key, navigating your way back, and avoiding enemies.
Why is Mario in it? It's Donkey Kong. I know nothing about these
Even
games.
I'm so fucking sick of your anti-Mario agenda.
It's based on the classic Donkey Kong arcade games.
Oh, so you're Mario climbing up. Donkey Kong's the bad guy.
Yeah, and he's kidnapped Pauline.
Okay.
Just like he did in the 80s.
Okay.
I think it came out for the 10-year anniversary of Donkey Kong. Because I think Donkey Kong came out in 1984. Around then, anyway. So I think it relates back into the 10-year anniversary. But the game design is so fucking tight in these games. Mario has like triple jump, handstand, backflips in this game. And that's in like Super Mario Odyssey and stuff. But this is all just based on like a 2-button control scheme. And you have this amount of detail where you can you can turn Mario upside down, make it do a handstand, make it do a jump, make it do a double jump where he gets more elevated with his jump, and you can clear levels much quicker. And so it's got a basic play version and then a more advanced play version. And this is like a very early Game Boy game. It's fucking crazy how like I just think like people who are interested in game design should definitely check this game out because it's all there.
This definitely sounds like an unsung gem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you finish it? Is it something that's long?
It's not actually that long if you know how to play it. Like I think it's about 100 levels in the game.
Yeah.
And they're very, very small, but they're like puzzle games. It's a puzzle platformer. But it's just really interesting because I love platformers, but this is not a side-scrolling platformer. It's a platformer in the same way Super Meat Boy is a platformer, where you're playing Super Meat Boy and you can see the objective on the screen already. And you just need to navigate your way to it.
Cool.
Through precision and skill.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds really, really intriguing.
You know, in the medium place and the good place, you get something you like, but the worst version of it.
Yeah.
I would have to play that game and Super Meat Boy forever. They'd be like, you video games, but it's Super Meat Boy.
Oh man,
that's weird because I'd be like, man, I'd like a good sitcom, and I'd get The Good Place.
Yeah. I'm actually not a big fan of Super Meat Boy. I find it.
Me neither. I never clicked with it.
Same. I just never. I appreciate that game, but it's not for me.
Yeah. I played a bunch of games, so I'm just gonna go through some real quick. I played Super Hot, which is a game I've wanted to play forever.
Oh yeah, Super Hot's great. I played the browser version from the Game Jam.
It's alright.
It's very good for a Game Jam game.
I think it's a good viewer game.
Oh, I'd say it's an amazing viewer game. I played the non-viewer version, and I started playing it, and I was like, the gimmick is that you move, time moves, so you can dodge bullets and stuff. Got real bored of that after about an hour, and was just like, okay. And I got it on sale for £7. I'd say that's about what I'd pay for it.
Yeah.
If I bought this for £20, I'd be pissed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's got a really cool look to it. It's interesting, but I don't know. I feel like this is a proof of concept more than anything else, and I'd like them to build an actual game around it.
They haven't since. Have they done anything else? I don't think so.
No, they just polished it a bit.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it was interesting. But yeah, I also went back and I played Cave Story.
Yeah.
I got this on my Switch and I played it. I finished it over the flight to LA.
Which is it the same version I got?
It's not the 3D version.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I played Cave Story maybe 10 years ago now.
Yeah, on
Does
PC.
that sound about right?
Using that ROM that was out.
And I was blown away by Cave Story. Just the idea that this one person made this entire game, and it had cutscenes and characters and really beautiful pixel art and really cool shooting mechanics and side scrolling. And it's still really cool. I do feel like it has kind of aged. Yeah. Big time. Especially in I think the gameplay mechanics are fun. I think it's a really fun game to play. But I think when you look at what 2D pixel indie games have done with characters and world building, I really feel that missing from Cave Story.
There are some quality of life bits for the player where you can end up in a situation where you've saved the game, but you have poor health, but in the next room is the boss, and you have to fight them on a shitty health bar.
Yeah. And just stuff like save, go through a long cutscene, hard boss fight, stuff like that.
And you can't skip it the next time. You have, and it takes 20 goes to beat that boss.
I kind of like that stuff.
I don't like it.
I feel like if you had to do it right now, you wouldn't like it by the end.
Maybe it's just my nostalgia for it in RPGs.
You know how Final Fantasy came out on the PS4, but they added the fast forward function because they know people are that's nice, but I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah, and especially two of my favorite indie games for the last couple of years were Least of the Painful Undertale. I feel story-wise, Cave Story did some really incredible things for that time, but
they're building blocks on...
Yeah, after Undertale and especially Lisa, after the things that I was just so unaffected by this story. It's charming. It is charming. It's, about these little rabbit creatures who, if you feed them red roses, they turn into these killing machines, and how that was used to start a war against the humans. But that's the extent of it. There's not really any characters. There's characters, and the little bits of them that there are is fun, but you don't really get a lot. And I think
it's got sad music when it's sad.
Yeah, and the music's good, but I feel man, I'd love to see the guy who made Cave Story make another game in this day and age.
Yeah, I'd like to see his Undertale.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's probably got it in him.
Probably, although he could just be I'm never fucking making another video game as well, because he made this all by himself.
Yeah.
Still respect the shit out of that game. I still think people should go back and play it, but Yeah, it was definitely a case where I feel like indie video games have advanced so much that a lot of the spark of this was gone, and what I felt more like now is I'm playing just a pretty good 7 or 8 out of 10 game, you know? Brian,
Yeah.
tell me about that Kirby demo.
The new Kirby game on the Switch is out in the middle of March, and they released a surprise demo the other day. It's like 10 minutes long. It's just 2 levels. And the levels are an easy level and a hard level. So they're both easy levels because Kirby is fucking so easy. Wow, like it looks great. You know how I'm a Kirby fan.
You're a Kirby guy.
No.
Yeah.
You're a Mario fan.
Jesus Christ, Niamh. There's a really, really, really good Kotaku article, like about Kirby. I'll probably tweet that out as well as the shirtless
Do you know
one.
who it's by?
No, I don't know who it's by.
Sorry, go on.
But I'm gonna tweet two things. I'm gonna tweet a shirtless Lance Reddick and this Kirby article. But one of the interesting things to say about Kirby is that it's like his games are never like as good as Mario or Zelda, but they're consistently pleasant.
Yeah.
And Kirby games never get delayed or are outright like bad with this terrible mechanic that like ruins everything.
Is it
about
still
them.
Hal working on them?
Yeah.
I feel like Hal, like, they have the formula down. They don't take big swings, but they do hit it every single time.
They do. So like this game is a very, very easy platformer, but is polished to the nth degree. Like it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's so fucking charming. And you're playing and it's super easy, but it's like taking a bath. It's just super relaxing. So I can't wait for the full version. And a Kirby game comes out every year and a half. I'm delighted.
Cool.
I'm so glad I picked a cool video game character to love.
I picked a cool video game character to love, and his name was Vegeta in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Who's a great assist character in that game.
Boy, is he. I played a bunch of Dragon Ball FighterZ. I hadn't really cracked it the last time we were talking about it. Like, I wasn't even sure if I liked it that much, to be honest with you, because 3 and 3 fighters aren't my thing. This is a very good fighting game. Like, I'm now a member of the Frieza clan. That's my rank. And it has been so much fun learning to use it. I get 3 on 3 fighters now. Like, it opened me up to a new genre of fighters. And this, it is such a good game. Like, these fights can get so cinematic, they actually feel like Dragon Ball Z fights. I had this thing where I had killed 2 of a guy's characters, and the only character he had left was Majin Android 21, full health. And I had 3 guys who were all, like, on the last pixel of death. And trying to take her down with that was one of the best gaming memories I've had, like, in months.
Did you win?
Yeah.
Cool.
Just about. Turns out that Dragon Ball Z fans are kind of shitty online at fighting games. Like, they're little bollockses.
People who like Dragon Ball Z are dickheads?
Yeah.
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 Right hell.
Niamh, I feel like me and Brian were talking about 2 different things, but you looked at me straight in the eye and said that and implied something.
No.
But, like, I've had a lot of rage quitters. One thing that really pisses me off is, like, I've had a bunch of people who are like, we have such a good match. Like, it's down to the wire and I'll win. And then they won't rematch. And it's like, dude, we had the best match there. Like, why are you playing this game if you won't rematch someone who you had a great match with, you know? And it's like... it's so frustrating.
Do you think because it's a Dragon Ball Z game, it's got a lot of people who are just into the anime, who just want to see those graphics?
Yes.
And they're like, what the fuck is this? Why am I losing?
But, like, yeah, I do. And I think for a lot of them, maybe it's their first fighting game. Because, if you play Street Fighter, you will get that. Not as much. Like, people get it that, hey, we're all here to fight. It's all about the fight, man. But it is such a great game. Like, some of the gameplay mechanics are so fun. Tien has his, like, big tri-beam, but if you keep pressing square, he keeps doing it and pumps all his health into it like he did versus Cell, and it's so cool. And then Gohan has the thing as well where, like, he has, like, you have, like, seven like, energy bars in it, and that's what you use to do your big attacks. And if you do, like, his big Kamehameha, he does, like, that takes up 3 bars. But then if you hold it down, Goku comes in and he does another 5 bars like they did against Cell, and it's so satisfying to win. I love this game. It's a really good game. I'm playing with Yamcha, Tien, and Vegeta.
Wow, that's a good mix.
They're a good mix.
I'm playing as Goku, 18, and Beerus.
Wow, that's fun. I really want to play as 18. I just can't get a hold of her.
I've figured out like how to balance like because she calls in her brother.
Yeah.
17. And I do like her beam direction because each one of those characters is a different beam direction, but that's part of my strategy.
That sounds really cool. We have yet to fight in it.
We did fight.
Did we? Oh, you destroyed me. Fight properly.
Yeah. Well, maybe after this podcast.
But
Niamh will also fight.
Yeah.
Niamh, don't shake your head in disappointment at us.
Why would you join our fight club, Niamh?
You love Goku. You love Piccolo.
I do, but I don't want them to fight. I want them to be good husbands and friends.
Jesus Christ. Do you not know what Dragon Ball is?
I like the quieter moments of Dragon Ball.
What, the bit where...
So do I.
Oh, actually, I really like the bit where it's like, okay, everyone, Goku learns how to drive a car.
I had a joke in the Dragon Ball Z script about that where I was going to be like, some of the episodes that in the filler are actually really good. Like, I like the episode where Goku learns to drive a car. It's funny, damn it! And then I just cut and gone to the next. But then I had to take it out. Oh, what a hellacious video. That's a really, really, really good fighting game. I'm glad it's introducing new people to fighting game. I'm glad Dragon Ball Z has like an excellent fighting game. Although I liked a lot of them over the years. I think Hyper Dimension, pretty good fighting game. But it's cool. And then last thing before we move on, I played the Yakuza 6 demo. Brian, I get the feeling you've watched most of the Yakuza 6 demo.
Oh yeah, have I?
Yeah.
I live in a very pro household for that game series.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I cared about anything as much as your girlfriend cares about Yakuza.
She fucking loves those guys.
So first impressions of the demo were kind of weird because like the first thing you do is like this one-on-one fight and they have this new combat engine in, and the combat engine I thought felt really bad, like really janky, like not refined at all. The animations were kind of okay. They kept dropping frames. The fighters kept like clipping through each other and stuff, and like altogether the combat felt a lot more loose, and like the camera pulls out way further back, whereas like it fills up way more. Like it's much tighter in the other games, and I like that because the fights in Yakuza, they're not like super fights. They're like, they're street fights. They're kind of intimate in a way. And I was kind of disappointed at that, but where it started to make sense was later on when I started getting into fights with like big crowds of guys, and that's when the looseness of it kind of felt better, and you could actually, there's like physics in it now, so you could throw guys into other guys, and that was kind of cool.
It's a Muso game now.
It's kind of a Muso game now.
Like you can grab a guy by his leg and swing him around like a propeller and hit the other enemies.
Yeah, and like they all go flying and they kind of ragdoll and stuff.
It's kind of like Sleeping Dogs-esque.
Yeah, and I did like that. The only thing is like one-on-one fights of Yakuza are so important. Like they're my favorite part. The best part of any Yakuza game is when the guys take off their shirts and start slowly walking towards each other. That is the best part. And those fights I feel like are, read into that however you want. And then like those parts I feel like are kind of going to suffer a bit now, But maybe I won't care. Maybe I'll get used to it. Outside of that, the presentation and story all just fucking top notch. I cannot believe how much I still give a shit about Kiryu and seeing what happens.
It's his last game.
It's his last fucking game. But like the way they have kept that story relevant and framed it with like how his actions have affected his weird little orphan children, it's brilliant. Like it's really well done, and man, like I refuse to believe anyone could watch that cutscene of Kiryu and the baby and not like have their heart melt a tiny bit.
Is there any game series where there's been 7 games about a single character?
Super Mario.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, but like Mario is just like,
I'm trying to think.
There's nothing going on with him.
I think like just that's the most interesting aspect of Yakuza to me is just following Kiryu's life.
Yeah, and the way I've done it is I've played 0, 3, 4, and now this, and I'm still really invested. Like I really want to see what happens to Kiryu, and like Majima's in it for a second, and he's just fucking perfect. Like he has like 3 lines, and they're all the most fucking Majima-esque lines in the world, and I am so pumped for this game.
When I was watching my girlfriend play it, I noticed there's a bit of jank in that it's not properly widescreen. There's a big black border around it.
Yeah.
And it's scaled down inside that black border. It's not fit to the screen edge.
Yeah, I felt like there was a bunch of that stuff.
And there's a lot of screen tearing when you turn the
there's
camera
a
around.
lot.
So like you'll swing the camera around and it'll like it'll have like frames from the previous frame tearing into the next frame.
That's kind of shocking because all I've been really hearing about this is it's a new engine and it looks amazing. So to have stuff like that,
It
But
looks
see,
backfiring
this could be like demo stuff that could be
It
patched.
could be,
at
but I
launch.
mean, like the actual game has been out in Japan forever.
Yeah, it has.
So I would be very surprised if they were using an incomplete demo build.
Yeah. Also, the fact that the lucky Americans who downloaded this game right away got the full game because they forgot to put the trial wall in. Because there's a bit where like it goes, this is as far as you go in the game. But the Americans were playing, and they were getting trophy unlocks and all this, and they could beat it to the very end.
That's so crazy.
And the whole idea was that they had it in because you could play this game and pre-order the digital copy, and then you could transfer on your save into the full version, which is like a nice idea.
It's a really cool idea.
And it's been done before, but you have to make sure that you completely brick wall the game up until a certain point.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen in the American version.
I would really love to see. I would love to see the impressions by a person who has no idea of what Yakuza is who played this demo, because it's literally like just drops you right in there into a bunch of bullshit. Then there's like 5 minutes of cutscenes, a fight, 30 minutes of cutscenes, like 3 minutes of gameplay, and then you're done. And like you can piss around, you can explore the open world, but all you can really do is like beat up hooligans.
That's Yakuza.
That's Yakuza. I fucking cannot wait. Like I am ready for more Yakuza.
Yeah, the game's out.
April?
Yeah, April 18th, I think.
What shitty month is it? March.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's out in like just over a month.
I can't wait. I think that's going to do it for our strategy talk, which means we're going to move straight into our Quicktime Events. Niamh, I'm going to let you take this first one. New Overwatch.
There's a new Overwatch character, and I thought her name was pronounced Brigitte,
It's not.
but it's not. It's not at all. I wrote it down phonetically because I was like, okay, sure.
I also wrote it down here.
You say it first.
Brigitte.
No, it's Brigitte.
Brigitte?
Brigitte.
Brigitte?
Vegeta.
Brigitte. I don't know.
She's,
Brigitte.
and she's related to Torbjorn?
She's Torbjorn's daughter.
Daughter.
Yeah.
I liked her character design.
Her character design is cool. She looks quite a lot like my D&D character right now, who has a big red ponytail as well. So I was like, good job, Overwatch.
Niamh, could you please keep the story with the facts, please?
New character. She is a support character. She puts out a mini shield, kind of like Reinhardt's. She has a bit of a forward momentum jump, kind of like Winston, which is kind of cool. And her weapon is a mace that has slight range to it. And her ultimate means she can move faster, and she puts out armor for everyone. So she's this cool tank support hybrid. Her armor's cool. I like her. I just like her design. I think she's pretty good looking for a Blizzard design, to be honest.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like usually when they release a new character, you're kind of like, But with her, it's like, oh,
yeah,
okay, cool.
She's an attractive woman.
They haven't like stuck a whole pile of weird shit to her, basically. But like they always let me down, and the skin's never usually the base design. So I wonder how they'll destroy her personality through bad skin choices.
What, they'll give her like a racist costume?
Yeah, well, the possibility for a racist costume. Or what they do is, what I really hate what Blizzard does, is that you think there's a defined iconography for a character. So, for example, Farah has a falcon, or birds. Then she has a dog one. Then they give her a snake one. Then they give her a dragon one. And you're like...
Niamh's not a fan of dogs, unfortunately.
Well, no, I like her dog one the best, but it's like...
Oh, really? You have
It's
to
like-
pick and choose.
It's this kind of idea of like thematic, like why does something mean something to a character, you know?
Sure, yeah. Like, the costumes are aesthetic and they don't say anything about the actual character.
like ever, and that kind of bothers me just generally.
Okay. And so, I'm not sure, but is this character actually a lesbian?
No, I don't know. No,
Okay.
probably because Blizzard won't say.
Because I saw a bunch of people online were like, new lesbian confirmed, and it's like, yeah?
Well,
Are you just wishing?
well,
Well, like she's a girl in
There's
armor,
always
so
wishing.
people will be like lesbian.
Yeah, full
But
armor.
Tracer's a lesbian, isn't she? Yeah, she's definitely a lesbian.
She is, like, it's weird because Tracer's a confirmed lesbian, and I don't think any of the, like, the lesbian community, they're kind of like, yeah, Tracer, our daughter. But, like, it's kind of like, Farah is more our gay daughter.
No, Farah likes men.
No, she does not.
No, she.
I have you like to ship things, Niamh. I have a good ship.
Yeah.
It's Farah, okay, and Reaper.
Yeah, that's really good because Reaper's a man, so
What
she'd
do you
like
think?
him.
What do you think of that ship, Niamh?
It's bad ship, John.
Okay,
It's a bad
wait.
ship.
Give me one more chance.
I haven't even seen that ship.
Give me one more chance. Okay.
Go on.
Mercy and Reaper.
That is an actual ship, and it's terrible.
I know.
What do you?
No, I don't partake. I rarely partake in shipping, except like.
Anyway, this isn't even about the shipping. It's about this new character who's lovely. Although,
Who do you ship her with?
probably Farah.
Fucking Christ.
Wait, she's an engineer, and Farah has a cool suit of armor. It's
Such
like,
a wiener. You know that?
I am weird. I just love to love. One of the things that people are a bit bummed about, and I totally get this, is Blizzard has female same face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every female character has just kind of like, apart from
A neutral DreamWorks face.
Mercy's meant to be like 46, isn't she?
yeah, like she's in her late 30s, I think.
Already.
But like Brigitte or whatever her name is, like people have done side to side comparisons of her and like Mercy's face, and they've just changed the thickness of her eyebrows and just the color palette a little.
Seriously?
And it's just like, guys, come on, because they've had her in a short where she's had a rounder, more filled out face, but they clearly have this template that they're kind of using.
Yeah. I feel like I can see what Blizzard's modelers look like.
Yeah.
Just big guys in Mastodon t-shirts.
And they need to make sure she's pretty, but there's only one type of pretty in their heads.
Damn right there is.
It's like in Disney films.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, like at least Jasmine has a different nose, but like, Jesus Christ, a lot of those, especially in the 3D ones, yeah, like the girls in Frozen and Rapunzel in Tangled,
Did you guys see
they're just
the
palette swaps.
Wreck-It Ralph 2 trailer?
No?
Yeah.
I am shocked at how lazy that looks.
It looks like a step above the Emoji Movie, but even the fact that you were reminded of the Emoji Movie is a bad thing.
Oh, I really liked that first movie.
I loved Wreck-It Ralph. I was like, this could be cool. They have a little girl who's playing like a mobile app game. It's literally Moana's child model from Moana.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's just there's a lot of reuse gone into it. And is it Sarah Silverman in it again? Because her voice doesn't even like it.
Wasn't Sarah Silverman in the last one?
Yeah, she was. She plays-
Her voice wasn't really syncing up with the character that well. I just thought it was like, this seems cheap, made on a very small budget.
It's probably made by the B team because the other team are working on something else. Like it
sucks. Wreck-It Ralph was so good.
It's a sequel. Like they've like stepped it down because they have a lot of the rigs already. Like they don't need to do. And like it's got a weird name. It's called Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, but it should be called Ralph Wrecks the Internet. They could have just been. See, already the marketing is better. I don't know. I
guess just that term. Guess who just broke the internet? Like, you know, from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't. I just think this game or this film could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. That sounds lame.
It was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, like I was watching and I was like, what's this about?
Brian, how about you take this next story?
Yeah. Wait, Swery announces new project, The Missing.
That's all I know about it. I haven't
That's literally all it is. It's
okay.
a video where
Fucking Swery's back. That's
Yeah.
all that matters. I am delighted. And this is different from his Good Life?
the
The one
Good Life
with the
game
cats.
didn't get funded on Kickstarter.
Right.
So they did another funding round, and I don't know if it did, but that's going ahead on a kind of separate studio. This is going to be the first game that's made in-house with his White Owl studio.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've only heard a little bit about this, but it sounded like real sweary bullshit. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, I thought The Good Life looked cool, but I was a bit like, oh, I want full force Swery.
Yeah.
Like, this looks like Swery trying something new, which is awesome. Just give me a fucking another Deadly Premonition. And like, I know that's so lame. I want the guy to be creative. I want the guy to, like, you know, do his thing. But I just feel like Deadly Premonition was so interesting. And I don't even like that game that much. But just, it did awesome things. And I want to see that potential realized. Mm-hmm. I did really like it. It was more just like, I think I, more than a lot of people, had such a problem with the combat sections. I thought they were god-awful.
I thought they were fine in general. But they're kind of like bad.
Why are you
bad
okay
fine.
with mediocrity in shooters, Niamh?
I don't know. I just like...
She
I'm more
likes-
into concept, I guess.
She's more into the shipping part of it.
Who do you ship from Deadly Premonition?
Agent New York and...
His coffee.
I like Agent New York and the player.
Agent York and his alternate version of himself.
You mean Zach?
Zach, yeah.
Yeah, hello, Zach.
Oh my god, there's so much. There's probably fan art of that.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
you
Zach.
know what I found? I found like a legit ship of. You know the way there's in Dragon Ball Z you have fusions, but there's two types of fusions. Okay, you got the earring fusion and you got the fusion dance fusion.
Yeah.
Vegito is the earring fusion.
And Gotenks is a fusion.
Gotenks is the fusion dance. But then you have two versions of Vegeta and Goku fusing. You have Gogeta, who's the dance, and Vegito, who's the earrings. People ship those two.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Because they wouldn't be... Unless you have alternate reality.
Yeah, alternate reality AU. Okay, cool. Alternate reality coffee shop AU.
Is it not alternate reality tattoo shop now? Isn't that the cool thing?
Tattoo / coffee shop /
Sure.
comic book shop.
My favorite video game ship is alternate reality timeline, so it's okay.
What is it?
I will get to it.
Okay.
Okay,
Sure.
I'm curious.
You already know what it is.
Probably.
I sent you fan art of it like a year ago. And
Oh, you the fucking Bloodborne thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. No,
That is- that is
I'm
a-
super into that.
That's a strong ship.
Yeah, that made me
Yeah.
buy. Like, I was like, I'm gonna buy that game eventually, and now I don't need to.
It's
Because...
in. I've got in the. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there.
First of all, let's talk about Tony fucking Hawk.
Okay, I really this one really this really got me because Tony Hawk's contract with Activision is finally up. And the reason that gets me so much is because I can remember reading in a games magazine. Remember games magazines?
I do. I
In
remember. print media.
2002 that Tony Hawk's had signed a 15-year deal with Activision, and me just being like, wow, I wonder what my life's going to be like in 15 years. And here I am, and it's up, like the contract's done. And it's just, it blows my mind. Gaming has changed so much since that happened. Remember when skating games sold? Remember when skating games were made?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I don't really have much to say in it other than that. Just time is a crazy thing.
I really hope someone picks it up and puts out a good skating game. Like, puts out something that's really arcadey, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Just like something fucking fun.
Yeah.
I bought the HD remake and it was so bad.
Oh shit,
It was
I've heard
so
that was
bad.
awful. Yeah. That reviewed so poorly.
The last one of those I played was Tony Hawk's Project 8, which was on the 360, and it was just empty.
Yeah.
Just an empty game. But then I really like Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 because they're just jackass games, and in them you could take off your skateboard and just walk around like suburbia.
They were kind of more jackass than Tony Hawk's, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. It's crazy because when you think of particularly I'd say Tony Hawk's 2 and 3, they were such cultural things. They introduced so many people to like punk rock metal, new metal kind of music, you know? And I can remember my cousin showing it to me, and Blood Brothers came on, and I just looked at him and I was like, whoa, what's this music, man? He was like, it's Papa Roach, dude.
I remember Tony Hawk's 3. I learned about CKY because CKY have their most famous song in
99 Quite Bitter Beans, something like that.
96.
Nah.
And then I got the CKY DVDs, and then MTV started doing Viva La Bam, But then Mega 64 were also super into like CKY and Viva La Bam. And then when I found their stuff, I was like, oh, these guys know what I like already.
Yeah, that's that feeling when you're watching Mega 64, when you're like, oh, these guys grew up with the exact same shit we did.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my favorite reasons why I like Mega 64.
Totally.
But I just love that whole like CKY Jackass thing where the whole idea is that they will like annoy people, but they're always the butt of the joke as well. And a lot of their own stunts are just them being dicks to each other. I like that aspect.
Yeah, like I liked Jackass because I felt like there was a kind of... No, I haven't watched it in ages, so I could be totally wrong, but I felt like there was a kind of good-spiritedness to it that I did not get from... Like, I hate Borat. Like, I don't like a lot of the shit that guy does now. I feel like it's really cruel and mean-spirited, and I don't like it. But I felt like with Jackass, like, the humor was always kind of pointed inward, and I liked that.
Yeah, for sure. Niamh, do you have anything?
About Jackass?
Yeah, what's your Jackass memory?
Yeah.
I liked it.
What's the craziest thing you were ever inspired to do by Jackass?
I would never do anything.
Okay, hang on. We'll roll that back. We're going to edit this back. Niamh, we'll just take another pass at that question, okay? So, 3, 2, 1. Niamh, what's the craziest thing that Jackass ever made you do?
I nearly killed a nun.
Whoa! Whoa, that's extreme, dude. Whoa!
Yeah, that's so good.
Sweet.
My one is that I knew, like, I was 16 years old and I was the only 16-year-old who had a camcorder.
Oh, shit.
And this is before, like, iPhones where you could just, like, film stuff, like, super easy. So the only way to film stuff was that you had to have, like, a camcorder. And I made friends with, like... I used to do one school course outside of school. And there was other boys on that course that were from, like the rough part of town.
Shit.
And I ended up getting along really well with them. I was like, you know, I have a camcorder. And they were like, you do? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, can we do like hidden camera stuff? And I was like, I don't see why not. So I set it up that I had a backpack with the camera lens sticking out, and it was always recording. And I would like angle myself with the backpack to film stuff.
That's so cool.
And so when I was like 15, 16, we'd have stuff where like the main guy would go into like bodybuilding shops and try and start fights with the bodybuilders. But you couldn't do anything because like they were kids and you can't hit a kid.
You can hit a kid.
Yeah, but this guy was a bodybuilder. Like I think he was like a human weapon.
Okay.
So it would just be like a battle of like call outs and comebacks, but the bodybuilder couldn't like say anything clever back to him.
Well, all his XP points had gone into bodybuilding.
Yeah, so I shot a lot of that. And there was ones where it was like weird people in my hometown dancing with each other. I don't know. It was pretty fucking cool, man.
Okay. That does sound pretty cool.
You're such a prep.
Yeah.
A prep?
He's just a little good boy.
Yeah. I was purely the person who edited this stuff, and then they'd see it and they'd be like, whoa, that's so cool. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm cool too. I didn't do any of this, but I did like facilitate it, so that's cool.
And possibly the biggest news item on the docket today, Detroit Become Human, is out May 25th.
Are we all going to get it?
I am. I think
Yeah.
I'm in. Like, I don't know I'd get it if this podcast wasn't a thing, but I'm going to put an embargo on us talking about that game until we get on the podcast.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's going to be interesting.
The only reason why I'm getting this is so I can beat it as soon as I can and then trade it back.
Same.
Because it's not going to be worth anything after 2 weeks.
Well, personally, I have more faith in the emotional artist David Kage.
Have you seen the cover?
I've seen people railing on the cover.
It's just an eye. It's just a bad crop of a man's face, and it's like, okay,
I think it's a girl's face.
sure,
Yeah.
someone's face.
Someone's face.
It's important. This is the beginning of the experience, guys.
Because humans and robots have eyes. So if you look at just their eye, you don't know.
Would you marry a robot?
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Brian, would you marry a robot?
I am a robot. So I'd marry a human. That's right, 2018, Detroit.
I'm excited. Mm-hmm. Genuinely excited.
I hate that dude so much. I can't wait to play this game.
I can't believe we're supporting him.
Yeah, supporting his art. And that's going to do it for Quicktime Events.
No, John. My last one is Bloodborne is on PS Plus in March.
Why isn't this on the fucking docket?
Because it's one of my favorite games ever made.
That's a sentence. That's not a reason.
If you haven't played Bloodborne yet, and you own a PS4 and you have PS Plus and you have the option to download it this March, do please download it. I think I'll replay Bloodborne this month because I think there'll be a lot of people online playing it, and I like doing the online stuff in Bloodborne. And it's been pretty quiet when I tried to replay it about a year ago. So, Niamh, I'll see you there.
Can't wait to play.
Brian, can I tell the story about the first day you got Bloodborne?
Oh yeah, that message conversation.
I got so I'd been like into Dark Souls for a little while now, and
Bloodborne was my first.
Brian was real. He was not sure he wanted into Dark Souls. Like you were because you were curious, but you were kind of like, no, I don't want to play this. It looks stupid.
Yeah,
and I was like, all right, yeah, sure, whatever.
Looks like it's for assholes.
I mean, yeah, but so he eventually like bites the bullet and he buys Bloodborne. And Brian does not like wasting money.
No, I hate paying for a €60 game.
Yeah, shit. And like if I pay for a €60 game I don't like, I'll kind of like, fuck it, whatever, it's stupid. But Brian will be like, God fucking damn it! Like you really do not like it.
And this is a time sink as well. Like
this is a time sink.
You need to commit.
And so I get this message from Brian, and it's like, it is the most genuinely in turmoil I have ever seen Brian, because he's like, I hate this fucking game. It's like, it's too hard. I keep dying. This game's for like, you probably didn't say all this, but like, this game's for fucking assholes. Like, but then at the end of it, you were like, but I'm going to keep trying because I beat one guy and it felt good. And then since then, he's like become the biggest fucking Bloodborne head ever.
But specifically Bloodborne, like I enjoy Dark Souls 3.
You have fondness for Dark Souls. You love Bloodborne.
Oh yeah, I think Bloodborne is where it's at.
Yeah. Have you ever had a game like that where at the start you were like, I fucking hate this game, and then by the end of it you're like, I love this game?
I remember I fucking hated Pokemon Snap. Then I loved it in the middle, and then I hated it again. But that's not the same thing.
The Legend of Goemon for the N64. That was like the sequel to Mystical Ninja on the SNES, and it was 3D, and it was like really weird, janky 3D, and it was kind of bad, but like that game had such personality that really won me over by the end.
Yeah.
I borrowed my friend's original Xbox and a copy of Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars, and I remember texting him being like, when does this shit game get good? And then by the end of it, like, that's one of my favorite all-time games.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, me too.
So my favorite Bloodborne ship is Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower and the doll, because they're one and the same. But also, to a lesser extent, the female hunter who's there to help. So it's kind of like a ship between 2.5 people.
That doll is like the most endearing character.
She's so nice.
Yeah.
The Lady Maria kind of looks like the female hunter.
Yeah.
Is that a plot thing? Like...
No,
she's
the
an
female
original.
Hunter is like create a character.
Okay.
There are a bunch of female hunters in that game, but she's probably like the most famous of them. But she is a DLC character, and I don't know if the PS Plus version of Bloodborne is like the vanilla game or the full DLC.
Is she part of the same DLC that has the Orphan Accosts?
Yeah.
You had to do a commission for Orphan Accosts before, didn't you?
I think I just drew it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, ew.
I love the DLC of Bloodborne. I think that's DLC done right.
I haven't played it, but like that seems as good as Artorias of the Abyss, the Dark Souls DLC.
I love its whole vibe. I think if I was going to cosplay anything, it would be Lady Maria. That is such a good look.
She's so cool.
Hat and that wig.
Yeah. Now, I probably will play Dark Souls when it comes out in May.
I don't think you'll like Dark Souls as much as Bloodborne.
Or 3. Dark Souls 3.
I think 3 is a tighter game, but I think like the imagery and the bosses from Dark Souls 1 are still better. Like I think there's no boss in Dark Souls 3 that's as good as the Great Grey Wolf Sith. Like there's...
You were so pumped for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did not disappoint. And oh man, like...
They even brought back that wolf in the Dark Souls 3 DLC, like the final DLC.
For anyone who doesn't know, this is just a giant wolf that holds a sword in its mouth.
Yeah, it's got a sword from Berserk.
Specifically?
Not specifically, but
yeah,
pretty much.
Like it's based on that sword, and then you can like get.
But like he has a really great backstory as well. Like he was he's a wolf who belongs to Artorias. He's holding the sword of Artorias, and Artorias is basically, he's like the chosen hero. Like, he's the real, honorable holy knight. But of course, so it's Dark Souls, so he goes to the world of Dark Souls and just gets completely fucked up. And you find him down like a bottom of a pit, and like he's got like a broken arm and he can't use it anymore, but he's all fucking crazy and evil now because it's Dark Souls and you have to fight him, and it's really sad. And just the fact that like Great Grey Wolf Sif was his best friend at one point, it's beautiful. It's what I like. Friendships.
Oh, very good.
Mm-hmm.
With that, John,
let's move into our emails.
Okay, this first one is from Hazel. Hey, Let's Fight a Boss. I'm a 17-year-old girl from Wisconsin, and I fucked up my life. Due to various circumstances that are mostly my fault, I'm having a very different teenage life than most people my age. I'll keep it short, but basically, I've been out of school for the past 3 years, and next year I'm probably going to high school as a junior. The 16, 17-year-old year of school, but I would be 17, 18. I'm happy that I figured out a way to fix my shit and get to a place where normalcy it will be possible in the future, but I can't help but feel I ruined the high school experience I was supposed to have. Recently, I've been exploring more high school media, and it's nice to vicariously feel more like a normal teenager, but afterward, I feel even worse than when I started. So my question is, how do I go about stop feeling regret over past mistakes that still affect your life in a big way?
Okay. I think we should address the high school thing first and then the regrets thing, because that kind of feels like two separate things.
Yeah.
But you may be happy to know that we have another girl here.
Mm-hmm. I was a high school dropout. I dropped out of high school or secondary school when I was in third year, so probably around 16 as well, for a multitude of reasons, and I never went back. I actually ended up going to do FOSS courses with my mom, beginners computers. So I was a very, very good at computers 16-year-old in a class full of 40 to 60-year-old women who were literally lifting up their mouse and putting it on the screen.
Wow.
So I helped teach them along with the tutor, and I got a lot of books read. But it was weird, and at some times I do feel like it was harder for me to make friends in college because I kind of missed all the socialization with people my own age. But ultimately, it didn't really end up mattering.
Yeah.
Like, everything I missed out on, like, and people will talk about, like, their leaving cert experience, and that's such a mass experience that everyone in Ireland has, is like the leaving cert and the nerves all surrounding it, and I'm like, never felt it, never went through it, not something I can relate to, and it's just a conversation where I have to go completely quiet during, and like, it matters less and less the older you get, and it never mattered. Like, it was a big deal at the time, and it felt like a big deal, but it didn't stop me from doing anything anyone else did.
Now you, like, you're an adult.
Yeah.
You have, like, a full-time job. You have a lot of friends. Well, you have me and Brian.
Yeah. John and Brian. I'm on a video game podcast. Reach for the sky, baby. But it's just like, it feels like a big deal when everyone has a shared experience and you might be the only person who doesn't have it. And that is hard. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. And to be honest, it's kind of, I don't know, it's like, you have way more emotional life experience than some other people your age, because you've gone through whatever you've had to go through, and you've had to reassess what you want to do with going back to high school, and maybe be at a different age group to other people, and maybe try and not see it as a negative and see it as a positive, that you have this extra time to mature and you have this kind of extra thing. Like, try and not see it as a negative, basically, because in the grand scheme of things, it's not.
Yeah. I think the other side of that is, like, Niamh, like, you dropped out of third year.
Mm-hmm.
me and Brian finished high school. I don't think either of us think particularly highly of the experience.
No, I don't have any friends from... I just kept to myself.
In high
Most of the
school,
time.
you're like this... You're like just this fucking ball of like hormones and without any concept of what you're actually about. Just because like, you know, you've gone through this huge transformation. Like you're a different person when you were than you were 12, but I don't think you really were around long enough to really figure out, you know, who you are, what you're into, and you're surrounded by people who are exactly like that. And if you can form like long-lasting friendships and stuff, that's cool. I still have like one or two friends I still see from high school, but like anyone super important in my life I met after that point. And that's because, you know, by the time we got to college, by the time we did all that stuff, like we were much, much older.
It's a blank slate in which you can reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
So there will be, like, high school is like 3 or 4 year blip in your life, and it won't matter.
Yeah,
honestly.
like I really don't think media builds high school up to be this big important thing.
Specifically American media.
Yeah.
America
Yeah,
has a
really...
real focus on high school being the best years of your life or some shit.
Go
And like
Sharks!
how everything kind of comes together at prom. It's weird, it's funny because like if you look at British media's take on like secondary school and high school is so fucking bleak compared to American media.
Yeah. I think it's your life outside of high school, like what you do when you like leave the school and have after school activities is more who you are.
And like this is something I kind of say sort of a lot whenever kind of we get a young listener writing in, but like, dude, you're like 17, 18. It is not possible to fuck up your life at 17 or 18. Like you have so many years ahead of you and so many experiences. Like you literally have no idea how long you have left. Like it is impossible to do forever damage at the young stage you're at, no matter what. Like
yeah. My kind of biggest advice about being 16, 17 in 2018 is go easy on the social media and don't believe everything people say on it.
yeah. Yeah.
And maybe you feel like it's good to watch these kind of high school experiences because you feel like you're getting something that you missed. That is a media representation of an experience. That's not a true experience at all. That is the most cherry-picked ideal version of an experience.
Yeah.
And it might not be a great idea to indulge in stuff that makes you feel bad. Like, I know you get some peace from it, but ultimately it doesn't sound like you are if you're writing this email to us.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, watch some stuff about some kids in college.
Yeah,
like, look forward to that.
Yeah.
Like the rest of things.
Yeah, like for me in secondary school, I didn't have any close friends graduating, but I had like acquaintances out of convenience.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you're just like, yeah, I get along with these people. Like I'm not fighting with anyone, but I'm not close with anyone.
Like I felt like a total outsider in high school. Like, you know, no one liked anime.
Yeah.
No one liked anime.
Like the last thing you want to do is peak in high school. Fuck that.
Man, I think we've said this before, but like some of the saddest people I know now are people who peaked in high school, and I feel genuinely so bad for them because it's like they had this one. They're still trying to recapture this one stage of their life, and they never moved on from it. And like the coolest thing I ever did was go to college and just make a complete new set of friends. That's the best thing I have ever done. And you know, I do know people who they still hang out with the same people they knew in high school. They're still the same people they knew in high school. The only difference is now that they all have kids and they have to go home at like 8 o'clock. And I'm so glad I'm not that.
Because we get to record our podcast at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we do.
We're cool.
But it'll be totally fine. Like, do not worry. Like, fair play to you for going back to high school and like, you know, doing what you want. Like, I imagine that can't be easy, but you've only got a little bit of it, and then like, you know, it'll be on to like new, bigger, better things. So like, do not worry about it. You'll be totally fine.
Yeah. I definitely remember being that age and measuring time differently. Yeah. Like now a year goes by super quick, but I know when you're 16, 17, a year feels way longer.
Yeah, a year is not that long. It's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
And use the gap year to your advantage. If you're going back, like, there is this whole, like, what's the deal? Like, I don't know, I would use that mysterious vibe to my advantage. Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Be cool with it.
What else we got?
Okay. This next one is from Adrian.
Okay.
This is something we kind of talked about before, but I guess we'll just do a refresher on it. I've been wondering about your thoughts on separating the person from the art. I've been wanting to reread Rurouni Kenshin. Is that how it's pronounced?
Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, there's the samurai one.
Yeah.
But it turns out the author is a pedophile.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was
a big bombshell on everyone.
Yeah, and they had an article about it this week, and like he's just been fined. That's it. It's fucking bullshit.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Japan has no laws on this shit. It's so
fucking
gross.
Oh my
it's
God.
fucked up. So it's a slap on the wrist for him. Wow.
That's appalling.
Yeah. I'm very conflicted on this. The series is very personal to me. It's like Kevin Spacey or a Louis C.K. thing, which wasn't very easy for me to drop those guys. I know Mother's Basement made a video about the subject matter, which sort of helps, but I'm still at a pause. I don't know how John or Brian would do if it turns out Araki or Oda or Togashi or Junji Ito were shitty people. Is it easy for you guys, or all three conflicted on the subject matter? Because those specific examples
Directly,
at the end.
what about like Araki or Oda? Like what if it turned out they were doing the kind of shit the guy behind Rurouni Kenshin was?
If it turned out that it was Oda, I'd be really, really like hit hard by it.
Yeah.
I would take it personally.
Yeah, like I would honestly consider deleting my videos on that stuff because that's how seriously I would take that.
Like, okay, it's like I think the first thing is that it's awful to the person that is the victim in the situation.
Yeah.
And we're just fans of the person, but I guess it's just us trying to process it is the shitty situation that we have.
Like I wouldn't read One Piece anymore because it would just be too tainted. Like I would just be too, because like a big part, like I think art is ultimately art is a communication from one person to another. I think that's a super important part of art and something I really love about it. And knowing the communication that was coming from was like this awful human being. I don't think I could get by that.
Yeah, like I love One Piece and I love Oda, the creator of One Piece. Like it just all comes from his brain, and that's one of my favorite things about it, that he's just been writing this one story for over 20 years now. So I feel like I have a personal connection with him. So it would just be like finding out your friend is a shithead.
Yeah.
And you just have to like cut off ties with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never easy. Like even if it was a friend, like it's not an easy thing to cut someone out of your life, or even cut a creator out of your life. But I think it's how you feel. Like
I would say, if you really love Rurouni Kenshin, the series, I would say this relates to like another email we got, but like pirate it. Like, don't contribute to that guy, but if that's an important part of your life and if it meant a lot to you at some point, well, fine. I wouldn't recommend it to other people, but yeah.
I think you could be like, it was defining for you at the time. That's great. You could try and reread it. Like, and I think it's like, you would know yourself. I think I could try and reread something and know if I was 3 chapters in, like, this makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
And stop. So I think it's really down to the person.
Yeah, it's going to vary.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's a black and white thing where you go, I am never going to touch this piece of media because it was made by someone horrible, or I'm going to ignore the person and just consume the media. I don't think you can separate creator from media completely at all. But what you can do is be cognizant of your feelings going into something. Can you separate it in the moment to enjoy it? Do you want to do that at all? Like, do you feel comfortable doing that? Like it's not a big deal if you do or you don't, but it is really down to the individual. Is the comfort you get from reading Kenshin worth the maybe distress you feel reading the work of a pedophile? Like, you have to balance that yourself, and I don't think anyone can tell you what the right or wrong answer with that is.
Yeah. Tricky one.
Yeah, it's a case by case situation.
Yeah, totally.
Like, if I found out Yoko Taro did something, that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, because he bore a soul to you.
Yeah, and like it would like I feel like even thinking about that, it feels like a worm has bored into my heart or something. It's like, it's painful like to think about. But I know I would never go back and play that game again, but I don't think it would interfere with the original emotions that I had for the stuff when I
think so.
Consumed it unknowingly.
Yeah. I think that's it. And I'm someone who goes back and like replays, rereads, or rewatches old media because I love nostalgia.
Yeah.
But you never get that fresh feeling ever again, and you're kind of like reprocessing it. Like it's never going to be brand fucking new. So you're just like, oh, here's my favorite bit coming up. Here's my, you know, it's that kind of feeling.
Yeah, the memory you had when you first read it is going to be different than the memory you have when you read it for the third time or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Like for me, when I read something I've read from 10 years ago, I just think about who I was 10 years ago.
Well, like, I think that's something that people don't talk about enough, how, like, the reason media affects you a lot of the time is you're at a very particular place in your life, you know? Like, it's the same way for the people creating it as well. I think the people creating it have to be in a very particular place in their life too, and it can be nearly impossible to recapture that. Like, I rewatch Yu Hakusho, like, once every 2 years or so, and I love it to death. But like it's not the same as when I watched it when I was a teenager, because when I was a teenager it changed my fucking life. Like, it actually had that much of an effect on me. Now it's just something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's kind of like that with video games as well, that with video games between the ages of 12 and 18, they're like the most important video games. Mm-hmm. And then when you play them as an adult, you're like, yeah, I like this game. But it's very rarely, unless it's like Bloodborne or Nier Automata, where you're as an adult and you're like, oh wait, this is breaking into my top 5 favorite video games ever made.
But even then, Bloodborne and Nier Automata are still fairly recent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think if we had like our top 5 video games, a lot of them are from the ages of 12 to 18.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That bracket where you just absorb it.
Yeah.
And it shapes who you are.
So I don't think you should have to lose that. But I think you also should think about, like, how much do you want to support this person as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually thought about this. Actually happened to me a few years ago. When I was really young, I was really into Lost Prophets, the band.
Oh no! Yeah.
And that dude turned out to be the sickest, grossest pedophile.
That was so fucked.
Going.
Yeah.
I found those CDs in my room and I just put them in the bin. Not that I don't listen to them anymore anyway, and I was never going to. But just the fact that I had owned them really freaked me out.
I just kept thinking of that music video he did where he's like a children's TV host.
Oh, gross.
And he's a children's TV host during the day, but then at night he's having like orgies with all the people on the show.
Man, I don't even know what that video.
It was really like, in
That's
hindsight,
fucked.
it was super fucked. But yeah. What else we got, Brian?
This last one is from Harry. He says, "This is my first email I'm sending you guys after listening for about a year. Cool. I just wanted to send Bryan and Niamh some love.
Thanks.
Wait.
I really enjoyed episode 69 and felt that the quality was still top notch. Thank you.
See, still top notch, not better than ever.
Still top, consistently good. I listen to you guys whilst I work, and you take the pain of a Monday morning away once every 2 weeks. Thank you. That's why we're here. To throw in some questions, what has been your favorite place you've traveled to? I went to Japan last year and had a blast. Are there any more ghost stories you guys have to share? I have quite a few ghost stories myself, but they're all quite long-winded. If you'd be interested in hearing them, please let me know." Okay, we'll answer the second question first. I don't think we have any ghost stories, but send in your ghost stories, Harry.
Mm-hmm. Send in your ghost stories. We do our Halloween episode, but if it's a really good one, we'll do it before Halloween.
We can do a spooky Easter podcast if we want to,
Easter
Harry.
is super spooky.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I actually got some.
Okay,
There's been some stuff.
Okay, John. All right, we'll do the ghosts first, and then we'll talk about places.
I might leave it till another episode, but yeah, there's been some happening.
Is this still a work in progress?
I had a conversation with Michelle recently, and I was like, "You seeing stuff?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Do you not want to talk about it?" And she's like, "No, I don't want to talk about it." And I was like, "Okay, let's just both carry on as we've been."
Is there like a gas leak in this building? What do you mean seeing
Are
stuff?
you both having strokes?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happening.
Gas leak strokes.
But yeah, it's I don't know what to do.
Okay, well, just see how you get on, and we can talk about your hauntings.
I'll keep you updated.
So there you go, Harry. You've opened up that fucking can of worms. But for your actual question about favorite places we've traveled to, let's do this.
At Japan.
100%. Yeah.
I haven't been yet. I really want to go.
You'd be so good in Japan. They'd love you there.
No.
They'd be like, whoa.
They'd be like, "Who is this handsome boy?" And then they'd be like, "What?"
Me? I'm a woman, Chan.
I just thought Japan was like, it just felt like being in another world.
Yeah.
Like their culture.
But they all like the same stuff as you.
Yeah, totally. But their culture was so different, and just I loved seeing the passion for fighting games. That was something just so special that you could go somewhere and people actually gave a shit. And I always remember like playing like this fucking like 14-year-old girl at Persona 4 Arena and getting annihilated, and just she like, you know, she KO'd me and she just kind of turns her head and she looked at me with such disgust. Like I nearly just fucking melted into a shadow and died. But I remember like, man, what a fucking crazy place where that could happen.
Yeah. I think it's Japan as well. I've only been to Tokyo, but I'm hoping to go back to Japan at the end of the year, if all goes to plan. But that was one of my favorite holidays ever.
Yeah, totally.
And it's just cool because you get all the experiences, but then you get to buy loads of cool shit as well.
Yeah. And like even when I went over there, like my girlfriend lost her suitcase, I had to get dental surgery. Even despite all that, it was fucking the best holiday. I've told that story on the podcast,
Yeah.
haven't I? Yeah.
It's called The Japanese Dentist.
Oh yeah, we have an episode named after it.
Yeah. I had a very, very pleasant experience, which, yeah, I think I had a bath every night in that hotel.
Oh.
And
You just love bats.
Yeah, I do.
I've had a lot of baths this week.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it's because it's cold and I was on a plane for 20 hours.
I haven't lived in an apartment with a bath for 10, 15 years.
We each have a bath, and you're more than welcome to, like...
Yeah.
I'm not going to come to your house
Brian has
to
a
bathe
bath
in.
and you are more than welcome to bathe in it.
Niamh, I'll turn off the webcam just for you.
I had to use your shower once and I was so creeped out by the whole fact. I was like, I feel like Brian is looking at me and I know he's not here.
I turn off the webcam as a courtesy. I don't for other people. And I have a lot of social events in my
You guys
apartment.
are so weird and gross.
It's not gross. It's
You always do stuff like that though. Like there's always this borderline like weird predatory thing with you both, and you always slip in these weird lines, and like it's never enough for me to get upset at one by one, but it's this cumulative thing.
You know what, John? Let's just see how we get on.
No, I don't like it when you say that.
I also love theme parks. So 10 years ago, my family and we have like this 10-year thing, so it might happen in 2019 as well. But in 99 and in 2009, we went on a big 2-week family holiday to Florida. And I love Universal Studios in Florida. I don't like Disney World in Florida. I think that place is lame. But Universal Studios is fucking amazing. They're probably my favorite theme parks. They have 2 theme parks there, and they now have a Harry Potter land and. I like that Harry boy.
Harry Potter's so lame.
It's so lame.
It gets
I hate
lamer
to
and
say
lamer
it,
every
but
year.
whenever I see people like with like Harry Potter merch on Instagram, I'm just like, oh dude.
Like there's literally so many other things you could be into.
I really,
know,
I really like how people are like super into hating it now because J.K. Rowling has just fucking ruined it.
I feel like me and Niamh we've hated it.
Yeah, I've never liked Harry Potter.
I've never loved it, but I know way too much about it.
No, okay, I don't hate it. I just think like
You never got it.
It's more when people are super into Harry Potter. I'm like, did you just dip your toe in fiction and stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, because I was reading,
Do you
like,
not
I
watch
read
wrestling?
Harry Potter alongside, like, his Dark Materials, alongside, like, Robin Hobb books, and it was never the standout. It was just the one that was about the
Dark
wizard
Materials,
boy.
fucking good shit.
Yeah, it's some good shit. It's just, like, it's a real weird one to get as popular as it did.
I feel like it's a book about nothing.
Yeah, she's not a great character writer. She's the George Lucas of literature.
Another trip I really, really loved was when I was 20. I wanted to go to New York, or me and my parents had to go to New York, but I had to get an unnamed surgery.
Can I say? John had to get butt surgery.
What?
He had a butt problem, and they had to like cut open his butt and take a bit of his butt out. And his mom had to change his bandages.
So me and Brian were at a Halloween party, and like we were dancing, and I was like, my butt's kind of sore, and I was like, I think at the time I was like, Brian, my butt's sore, And I think Brian literally, no, it was our friend Jess. And Jess just goes, John, shut up about your butt. And I was like, okay. And so that night I was cycling home and my butt was so sore that like the pain was searing and tears started streaming down my face. And I was like, oh, this is going to be really sore to go to New York with. And so then the next day, I woke up and my butt was still super sore. Should I be telling this story?
Yeah, it's about you.
Okay, so then I had to go to the doctor, and he was like, "Yeah, you need butt surgery." And
What did you do to it?
it was like
Was it just naturally?
no, it was like a cyst or something.
He had a cyst. It's very, very common to get them.
Yeah.
Because boys collect hair down there.
If you have dark hair or get stressed easily, you're meant to be especially vulnerable to it.
Wow, you're fucked.
So this was about 2 years of cyst build-up, I'd say.
Yeah, and
that shit was swelling.
so anyway, the doctor I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to go to New York tomorrow, right? And the doctor was just like, sure. And so anyway, I go to a hospital and I get knocked out and I get they do the butt surgery, and then I wake up like. I remember waking up on the table actually and just being like, what's going on? And then just being like, hey, did you give him enough? And like, that's all I remember. And then I woke up, my parents were there, and I was like, well, at least we get to go to New York. And they were like, no, John, you can't go to New York. And then they were like, you also have to lie on your stomach for the next 2 weeks. And I was like, you mean I can't exercise?
Oh my god.
And they were like, no. And I was like, oh no.
John, I really like the bit where you were still in the hospital and the nurse was giving you painkillers, but you were like, more.
Okay, so I should mention this cyst thing. This is the most painful thing I ever got in my entire life. It grew into a nerve cluster, and it was just the most insane, like, mind-shredding pain. Like, I didn't know people could feel pain in this capacity. And so they were like redressing the wound, which means they have to take a bunch of stuff out. I'm so sorry if this is grossing people out. They have to take a bunch of stuff out and put a bunch of, like, gauze and stuff back in. And I was fucking screaming in agony. And like, I'm pretty okay with pain. Genuinely, like, I have gotten the shit kicked out of me in a bunch of different ways, in a bunch of different circumstances, and been okay with it. I was fucking screaming, and I was like, get me more local anesthetic! And they were like, we can't give you any more and I was like, get me more! And they were like, fine, Jesus, fine! And they finally gave it to me, and like, definitely passed the legal limit. And that night, I was so fucking high. I spent the entire night not sleeping, listening to the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack on repeat. And I was looking at my hands and I was literally like, this is fucking amazing. I can see the music on my hands.
The way you described to me was you were in the bed and the bed was floating in the room.
Oh yeah, no, it was like a spiritual experience. It was fucking amazing.
But like, it was like your room was like in a submerged fish tank, and it was just like,
that's what it was
just like levitating up and down a little
like
bit.
Gravity or any other law of physics, they did not affect me, and it meant that my consciousness was free to become one with everything around me, and I did not have to fulfill the lie that was myself. That's what that felt like.
Okay, but then a month later, you did get to go to New York.
Then a month later, I did go to New York, and it was cool because the New York Anime Convention was on, and I'd never been to an anime convention. There was none in Ireland, and I just fucking wandered around it, just completely starry-eyed, just being like, I can't believe there's people dressed as Naruto.
The first anime convention in Ireland was in 2008.
Yeah.
And this was in 2007.
Yeah, and...
oh, John, I really like... I've actually got a little story about the anime convention.
Yeah.
Because you shot video of it on your DSLR camera. Because you could shoot video. And you had like a bit where you were just like filming around like a trade hall.
Yeah.
And you were kind of filming it like horizontally, doing like a big like landscape sweep across the trade hall. But there was a bit where you filmed across a Naruto cosplayer. And I'm sorry, it was a big fat American, but... You filmed them and it was their butt, but then you kept like panning, and it was like the entire butt was on screen for about 4 seconds.
Like, I wasn't focusing on the butt, but it was there.
It was just a giant butt on screen, and we were just like, when's the butt gonna end? And it's just like, how come that person doesn't get butt surgery?
But yeah, that was my story, man. I got in real bad trouble once for film and stuff. Moving on. Sorry. No. Is that the last email?
That's the last email.
What a fucking disastrous podcast. Jesus
Is
Christ.
this episode going to be episode 70, the butt doctor?
I'm going to edit all this down. This is going to be like 20 minutes.
John's butt adventures in New York.
Maybe I might just go with the butt doctor.
Yeah.
Niamh, what's your favourite place?
I'm too poor to go on holidays, and I've never been anywhere.
You went to LA, me and Bryan.
I hated LA.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, LA.
No, I went to, I really like Germany.
Yeah,
I go to Berlin a bunch. And I really like Germany because it's really very functional, and they have a really good zoo. And I like their gay bars.
Yeah, I'd say the gay bars or something else.
There's one with fur on the walls.
Whoa.
Sweet.
Which is gross.
No, it's fine. I'm sure it doesn't smell like 2-week-old alcohol.
I'm going to New York for the first time later this year to go to FlameCon, so I'm excited about that.
I can't wait to hear
When's
about
that? Is that in August or?
I think so. I don't really do the planning for things.
No, you just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up and make sure there's no weed on you.
Yeah. But Germany, so far, has been my favorite.
That our last email?
That's our last email.
Which means we're moving into our loot drop! Bryan, what you got?
Irish YouTuber Matthewmatosis, who reviews video games.
Goddamn fantastic YouTuber.
But he's gotten very kind of like... He doesn't release a video quite often.
No.
Like he might release 1 or 2 a year.
Making YouTube videos is hard. He takes his time.
He absolutely takes his time. But when he does release a video, they're amazing.
Yeah,
this
always.
one is on Sonic Dreams Collection, which is a game that came out in 2015. It's a fan game.
The official Let's Fight a Boss number 5 game of the year for 2015.
This is one of the best Sonic games ever made.
Totally.
And it's... Well, this is like the second best Sonic fan game if you consider Sonic Mania to be the best one.
Or the best if you consider Sonic Mania a fan game.
Yeah. It's just a 20-minute video about Sonic Dreams Collection because I remember when that game came out, I was like, no, like this game is a work of art.
Yep, totally.
This is postmodern art. This is an experimental piece of art. Like this should be an art gallery, 100%. And he just has some like nice pointers about it.
I genuinely 100% believe that Sonic Dreams Collection is a culturally significant piece of art.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, I think about like the internet in this decade, and part of it is name generator the hedgehog.
Yeah. Like
you just put your name in and the hedgehog into Google, and you just look at the images.
Oh yeah.
And that gets explored in this video. So please watch.
Yeah. For me, I got a loot drop, and it's a very special one. Basically, I've you know, if you've been keeping up with the channel at all, you'll know that I have been doing a bunch of Dragon Ball Z stuff, and I did a lot of research into Dragon Ball Z, and I came across some real fucking gems, let me tell you. But the thing that got me the most excited, there's kind of two, but there's this AMV, and it's from the Cooler film of Dragon Ball Z. Cooler is Frieza's brother, and he's just as strong as Cooler, except he has a secret 5th form. And someone has made an AMV out of the Deftones' Changing the House of Flies, which is maybe my favorite Deftones song. And they have, you know, the Windows Movie Maker blue screen at the start. They have, you know, their little shitty ident. The AMV is 9 years old or something ridiculous like that.
Perfect.
And it took me back to a time that is long gone. You know, a simpler time when... If I could send this to myself 10 years ago, I would have been blown the fuck away by this. Well, even like earlier, like when I was a teenager, and it's in like 240p and it's glorious. And the other one is an AMV called Vegeta's Pride. And this one is also in 240p. It's cropped. It is it's got a Cartoon Network logo down the bottom right. And I showed this to a bunch of my American friends when I was over in LA, and it made some of them cry because it is a genuinely amazing AMV. It is fucking brilliant. It is intercut. It's all about Vegeta's life and philosophy, and it's intercut with select pieces of Vegeta dialogue. It is maybe the best thing I've ever seen. So yeah, I'm going to drop 2 Dragon Ball Z AMVs. Please watch them and please enjoy. Please come into my world for just a moment.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I didn't really know what to loot drop, so I just thought I'd loot drop pretty much my favorite YouTuber.
Yeah, Niamh. They already know who
This is like Nick Spheres, and he does analytic videos on kind of just weird shit. So like Twin Peaks, David Lynch, myopics, just different film theory stuff. And he does them really well with a really great sense of humor. He's kind of like the ContraPoints of analysis.
Wow. Okay.
It's just like neon lighting and just good sense of humor and spookiness. He did a really good video with like a review of Twin Peaks with Nightmind, which was really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Nightmind.
It came out just before season 3 aired, I think.
I've never heard of this guy. I gotta check him out.
He's under like 100,000 subscribers, but like he's nearly there. But he's really, 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 really good. Like,
well, let's see if we can't give him a little boost.
Yeah, everyone check out Nick Spheres. Good content.
As usual, these loot drops are always in our show notes, but we also tweet them out individually. Mm-hmm. So
follow that Let's Fight a Boss Twitter. Also, people usually stick them on the Reddit as well.
They do.
/ Let's Fight a Boss.
And then our email is askletsfightaboss@gmail.com.
askletsfightaboss@gmail.com.
And if you enjoyed the emails, we love teenage difficulty emails.
We sure do.
We love them. We love ghost story emails. We love
honestly,
quick questions.
We'll read any old shit.
We will.
Yeah.
I like video game based emails.
Yeah.
So if you want to send any of those.
Yeah. What's a video game? I wanted to say just apologies about missing, not that we missed a week there a while ago. That was this super complicated situation where 3 separate events all conspired to mean that we just couldn't. I really hate missing. I think that's the first week we ever missed.
It's the first time we've missed it since we started.
Yeah, recording. And like I hate doing it because I know I hate missing it because I know we already missed we only post like once every twice a month, which isn't that much. But I certainly know like when I kind of have a podcast coming out, I really don't like it when they miss an episode because it kind of throws off my day. And so I do just want to say sorry like that we did miss one, and that's why we wanted to kind of put 2 in a row out, and we're going to be going back to our regular format after this. But thanks to everyone, and just sorry if that was like a pain. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for understanding, guys.
Yeah. But we'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Thanks everyone for joining us. It feels good to be back.
Goodbye.
Bye.